Nice trio bull calves to sort through here, and the gentleman's bull that leads off. That's a super powerfully constructed one in terms of just his foot size and bone work and the top side of his skeleton, and a lot of muscle and shape when you get right behind him as well. But just as importantly, he's sound in his makeup as we watch him get out and go and covers his track. Just a nice place to start. The young lady's bull that comes second in line, standing still, that bull certainly gives you a good look, and he's packed full of some meat and muscle when we get right. I need to change him, or we'd like to change him just a little bit in terms of his structures. We get him out and watch him go just a little stiltier off both ends of his skeleton. The young man that rounds off the class has got a long pattern, kind of a bull that's smooth in terms of his makeup. Quite simply, he just runs out of gas in relation to those two powerful bulls ahead of him, but a nice trio to sort through. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Well, congratulations over here in the percentage Simmental Bull Ring. First place will go to Buck Creek Ranch and Conley Cattle with Conley BCR Tulsa King K49. Second place will go to Cooker Landon Livestock and Clearwater Simmentals with KL&L Lone Ranger K07. Third place will go to Alex Bonner with Bonner K7. We'll now bring those first and seconds in. Selected Champion Reserve Spring Bull Calf.
We're our first division here in the percentage Simmental Bulls, and I think a pair of nice class winners. Definitely the young ladies bull here, just a June calf, and like I talked to him in class, I think one that's youthful in his type and kind, still good in his muscle pattern and how he's pulled apart down the top side there. He's got some shape to his back and some muscle down through his quarter and stifle. A calf that probably runs into just a little disadvantage, this big, robust, rib-caged bull that Cody just described, and I mean giant feet and big bone kind of an individual here that comes to us with a great big rib cage and one that just we appreciate quite a little bit. We'll get you a champion reserve. Let's give these exhibitors in this first division a round of applause.
Well, congratulations. Your champion Spring Bull Calf coming out of Class 16, Buck Creek Ranch and Conley Cattle with Conley BCR, Tulsa King K49. And congratulations, Reserve Champion Spring Bull Calf coming out of that same class, exhibited by Cooker Land and Livestock and Clearwater Simmentals with KL&L Lone Ranger K07. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors. We'll look to start your next division here in our Percentage Simmental Bull Show. This will be Class 17. Simmental Bulls born January to February of 2022. Well, over here in Ring 2, we are getting started with your Junior Optimizer show. We're excited to welcome your judge today, Mrs. Cass Newell of Yukon, Oklahoma. Cass is the Executive Vice President of the Oklahoma Youth Livestock Expo. Ladies and gentlemen, here in Jim Norick Arena, let's put our hands together and welcome Mrs. Newell to the ring.
Just a pair of bulls here, and this is going to be an automatic division, but two bulls that certainly has some utility to them. We'd like to use the young man's black bull here, just a bit more length and stretch in that calf. You study him and gets him set up there and gives you a good look from the side. He's got more than enough muscle and power stacked into him as well. I want to loosen him up just a shot in terms of that structure and drop him down in that rear flank, but a high quality long spine bull to lead off. The red bull, the red baldy blaze face bull coming around here. You appreciate his added moderation of frame combined with some rib and some body and some shape to him. Just like to take him and just stretch him apart. He's a little more jammed up in through that front 1/3, but you appreciate his muscularity and dimension that he brings. Congratulations, those two exhibitors.
All right, well, as we get started over here in the junior show, the heifer that's going to lead off this class, a really nice little heifer calf here. Really like the body and rib shape in this female, and she puts it into a really nice package from the side. Certainly the soundest structured one in the class, really a nice heifer to lead off. The heifer that's coming in second for us, one that is really neat up through that front end. I really like the length and levelness of lines that she brings forth. I'd like to see her laid back in the angle to that shoulder just a bit, and she's just a nickel greener than our heifer that wins the class today as well. And then the heifer that rounds off the class here for us, a really long-bodied heifer. Really like the length up through her front end. I'd just like to drop her down in her flank just a bit, and I'd like to see her move just a little more flexible as she gets out on the lead. Let's give these exhibitors a round of applause.
Well, back over in the Simmental ring, congratulations, your champion junior bull calf will go to Robinson Cattle Company of Cushing, Oklahoma with SKR RIP K22. Second place and reserve in that division will go to Brazil Creek Cattle of Shady Point, Oklahoma with GFFS Pendleton 2109. We'll now look to see Class 18 percentage Simmental bulls born December of 21. Over in our optimizer ring, we have gotten started with your junior show out of Class 5, first place. Congratulations to Josie Belts of Canton, Kansas. Second place exhibited by Brooklyn Matlock. And third place will go to Josie Belts. We'll now look to see Class 5B, early spring heifer calves born March of 22.
Another single entry here, but a bull that's got a tremendous amount of quality to him. This bull's really opened up behind his shoulder and really comes into a good center portion of his body cavity there. One that's got some extra depth and sure like that about him. One that's really big and stout down his top line. You get him behind this one. You know, maybe if I'm going to just nitpick at him a little bit, just lay him in at the point of his shoulder and just tidy him up there the way he handles his front knee. But sure, a big, robust bull calf here. Sure got some pounds to him, and you got to appreciate that extra performance and a good beef bull prospect here for this young man. Congratulations.
Well, congratulations in your first class here in our senior bull calf division. First place will go to McCoy Landwehr of Enid, Oklahoma with MCCL Macho Man J123. We'll now look to see Class 19 percentage Simmental bulls born September to October of 21.
All right, a nice class over here on this side. The heifer that's going to win is the powerfully made heifer. You get in behind. She's the widest. She's got the most spring of rib there when you get in behind her. Really like the bone and just the genuine cow power that she brings. If we're going to change her, I'd like to see her go more flexible on the move. I'd like to lay her back in the angle to her shoulder there, but really just like the genuine rib shape and power that she has. The heifer that's coming in second, a broody made heifer with a lot of depth of body, one that's certainly going to be really sound structured out on the lead. I'd just like to see more of her today. Open her up in her rib cage, open her up when we get in behind her. Let's give these two exhibitors a round of applause.
Pair of fall bulls we've got here, and once again a nice duo, and the gentleman that leads off, just from a quality standpoint, that one hits you pretty hard initially when he comes into the ring, just his balance and his presence. More importantly, he's good in his running gear on his feet and legs. He has some shape to him, probably a nickel deceiving, as Eric and I were talking. You wouldn't expect to have that much shape to him from the side when you analyze him, but you step in behind him, certainly more than enough power and meat and muscle. Nice calf to lead off. Really super long spine calf that comes in second here, and you appreciate that about him. He's built good and level out of his hip from hooks to pins there. Ample in terms of his foot and bone work. That's a big testicle kind of a bull with some shape to him as well. I like to loosen him up ever so slightly in his structure, and in relation to that extra frame and stretch, probably just body him down just a shot just to see him a bit more proportional, but a bull with a lot of utility to him as well. Congratulations, those two exhibitors.
All right, well, a single entry over on this side, a really nice heifer. She's got a really high quality look to her. Really like how she ties that neck in high. I like the length of body that she has, and she gets out and on the move. Pretty sound structured heifer as well. We'll evaluate her further. Let's give her a round of applause.
Well, congratulations back over here in the Simmental ring. Results out of Class 19. Exhibited by J.S. Simmentals in Wayward Hill Farm of Maxwell, Iowa. WHF JSCCS Woodford J001 in second place in that class, exhibited by Rhett Keaton of Anderson, Missouri, with 5 KCC Crown Jewel 3064. Well, now bring those first and seconds in. Select the champion reserve here in your senior bull calf division. Back over in the junior optimizer ring, results out of Class 5B. First place went to DJF Carson 243K, exhibited by Easton Leibhart of Maryville, Missouri. And second place in that class, exhibited by Kayleen Dorman of Marshall, Missouri. First place out of Class 5C was exhibited by Brooklyn Matlock of Seaman, Oklahoma. Now over here in ring 2, we have Class 6, winner heifer calves born October to December of 21.
Moving right in here in our fall bull division, and a nice pair of class winners out here. And I think a pair of bulls that as we get back off of them and analyze them, both bulls are really good in their body shape, and they're bulls that offer some muscle and dimension and shape and power to them. Probably a young man's bull, going to nitpick just slightly on him, like I said in class. Maybe one that wants to be a little more opened up at the point of his shoulder, just tidy him up the way that he comes at you with his knee there. But sure, a big, stout, bold beef calf bull here that I like quite a little bit. The bull that Cody just described out of that last class in a competitive pair there, sure a bull that's got a tremendous amount of balance from the side, and definitely not disappointing when you get in behind him, one that's big testicled and really square about his pin shape and his rump build there. I think another nice real calf there that won that second class. Join me and give these exhibitors a round of applause. We'll get you a division and a reserve champion here in this particular fall division.
Congratulations in this division, your senior bull calf division champion. We'll go to J.S. Simmentals and Wayward Hill Farm with WHF JSCCS Woodford J001. And congratulations, reserve in your senior bull calf division to come out of Class 18. Congratulations to McCoy Landwehr of Enid, Oklahoma, with MCCL Macho Man J123. We'll now bring in your next class. This will be also your junior division. This will be Class 20, Percentage Simmental Bulls, born March of 21.
Well, a really nice effort to lead off this class for us here. I just really love the cowie look that she has here today. Really deep-bodied, bold-sprung heifer, and one that just puts it into a really nice package. Love the sound structural base that she has. If we were going to get really critical on her, we could maybe clean her up just a bit right there through her front end, but that'd be really picky on her. A really nice female to lead off this class. The heifer coming in second for us, a really stout bone, a stout-made heifer, but when compared to our class winner, she gives up the extra springer rib, the extra body shape that our class winner has, but a nice entry in her own right. The red heifer coming in third for us here, a really broody made heifer with a lot of depth of body. If we're going to change this heifer, we'd like to make her just a little neater to look at out here today, clean her up in her shoulder just a bit, but really can appreciate the sound structural base that she has. And then the heifer that rounds off the class, a really long-bodied heifer, long-fronted heifer, one that I'd just like to size down just a bit and see her just a little sounder structured when she gets out on the lead. Let's give these exhibitors a round of applause.
A really nice single entry here as we move into these yearling bulls, and you know, just one that's really stout when you step in behind him and still blends adequately. Shoulder, a bull that gets out and travels about the ring. We like how neat he is about his sheath and his underlying here, a bull that travels adequate for us. It'll be nice to get this one back out here in the drive and see how he compares up to the other bulls, but a real nice individual, single entry, and congratulations on a single division champion here.
Well, congratulations back over here in your junior optimizer ring. Results out of Class 6. First place went to JB Jolene 35J, exhibited by Jace Belts of Canton, Kansas. Second place will go to Evelyn's Lady 128J, exhibited by Caden Geffert of Hiawatha, Kansas. Third place, exhibited by Taylor Phillips of New Boston, Missouri. And fourth place will go to Isabel Peterson of Wayland, Iowa. We'll now look to see Class 8A over here in your junior optimizer ring. Back over to the Simmental ring. Congratulations, your junior bull calf. Your junior bull will go to Class 20. First place was exhibited by Bowling Cattle Company, Toll Show Cattle, Bloomberg Cattle, Jones Show Cattle, and Porter Cattle with Maverick.
Well, a single entry on this side over here, a really nice female here, really broody made heifer, really got a lot of rib shape, a lot of depth of body. If we were going to change her, maybe layer in just a little smoother right there at her tail head, but really can appreciate just the genuine power that she has. We'll evaluate her further in a minute. Let's put our hands together for her.
Another single entry here back on the bull show here, and a bull that could definitely stand some competition. I mean, super long spined and very smooth in his pattern, his makeup, good in terms of his testicles as well. A bull right here for that extra length and strength that he has. At times you might want to just give him a shot more mid-rib and rear flank, but in relation to that extra length that he has. But that's a super high quality, good looking bull the gentleman brings out here. Congratulations to him.
Well, congratulations back over in the optimizer ring. Results out of Class 8A. First place exhibited by Chloe Vogt of Home, Kansas, with TTG Divas Polly 44J. We'll now look to see Class 8B. These will be junior yearling heifers born February of 21. Back over in the Percentage Simmental ring. Results out of Class 21 Percentage Simmental bulls. First place will go to Red River Farms and Wallace Cattle Company of Grand Saline, Texas, with WCC RRF Troubadour 0130H. We'll now bring in your final class here in this division, as well as in your Percentage Simmental Bulls show. This will be Class 22 Percentage Simmental Bulls born February to March of 2020. Well, we have a correction to your program over here in Ring 2. At this time, we're bringing in all of your division, my apologies, your class firsts and seconds. And our judge, Mrs. Cass Newell, is going to select her grand and reserve grand champion, Optimizer Junior Heifers.
All right, well, a really nice, high quality show over here on Ring 2. And I think these exhibitors have done an excellent job getting these cattle ready for the show. There's a lot of quality all the way from top to bottom. I'll go out and pick us a champion, but let's congratulate these exhibitors on an excellent show today.
We bring these two senior yearling bulls out here in our percentage ring, and just an awesome pair of bulls. And Cody commented, he said, you know how much work it takes to work on these big bulls, and we joked about that. But just my compliments to both these breeders, because two high quality individuals out here. The bull that we're going to use to start with, the gentleman's got out front here. I think just for as long bodied as this bull, and you step in behind him, and for as much shape as he's got, he's incredibly athletic. And then he gets him parked on the side, and this one's tall and elevated in the front end of his skeleton. Got a great big forearm on him, really balances up awesome from the side. I think a high quality place to start here. The bull here in second, just awesome in his belly shape and design, one that's really good from the side profile from that. Maybe at times it throws him off, I think, because of his extra depth through his forerib. Maybe wants to pull him down right behind his shoulder blade there, but a really sound, functional bull here that's got a lot to him. I think an awesome pair of big bulls here. My congratulations to those two exhibitors.
Well, congratulations in our final class over here in your percentage Simmental show. First place and congratulations goes to J.S. Simmentals in Minert Show Cattle of Maxwell, Iowa, with Harker's Unleashed. Second place in that class exhibited by Circle M Farms, Stevens Beef Cattle, and Bramlett Simmentals, with SBC in Northgate 795H. We'll now look to bring those firsts and seconds in and select Champion Reserve Senior Bull.
First selection of your senior bull here in the percentage ring, and three individuals out here that are high quality beef bulls and could be utilized into a lot of different breeding programs. You know, the Baldy bull, get off the side of this bull, and we love the design and the way that he is up through his crest and his head and neck. I think one that's just really got a nice look from the side. I think a bull that, you know, maybe had the hair coat of the other two bulls, you know, maybe just soften him at times in his flank, but I think a really tremendous individual that come out of that single entry class. And the pair of bulls here that I just described, I think, you know, again, like I said, this bull is really long bodied, really athletic, and you get in behind him, and I think there's just plenty of shape, and he really balances up good. He's square about his hooks and pins, and he's really good in his pin set, and he's wide based. A really nice pair of bulls came out of that class. We're going to show you the two that we like out of this particular division. My congratulations to all these exhibitors in this division.
Well, congratulations, your champion senior bull coming out of class 22, J.S. Simmentals in Minert Show Cattle with Harker's Unleashed. And congratulations, your reserve champion senior bull coming out of class 21, Red River Farms and Wallace Cattle Company with WCCRRF Troubadour 0130H. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors. At this time, we're going to bring in those division champion and reserves over here in our Percentage Simmental Bull show. Our judges will select their champion and reserve champion Percentage Simmental Bulls. Well, at this time over here in Ring 2, we're going to get started with your National Open Optimizer Heifer Show. We're excited to welcome your judge, Miss Emily Griffiths of Kendallville, Indiana. Emily is the co-owner of 3G Ranch, a purebred seed stock operation consisting of 200 head of Limousin, Galvey, and Angus cattle. 3G's ranch primary income comes from the sale of bulls and females to commercial cattlemen. They have extensively used the show ring as a marketing tool, raising national champions in 5 breeds. 3G Ranch is also a 25-plus year co-op bull development partner with Wolt Cattle of Morris, Minnesota, who market 125,000 head of feed cattle. Emily is judged collegiately, being named an All-American and a 2-time high individual at the North American. Let's put our hands together and welcome Emily Griffiths to Ring 2.
Well, as we wind down our Percentage Bull show here, and we have these 5 division winners out here, and really, really good quality individual bulls. And I think that all the way from the calf to the big bull, you know, this is what the Sim Angus or the Sim Genetics business is about, raising these cattle that are good, functional, easy doing kind of beef bulls that go out and even in the commercial sector just have a lot of tremendous value for these breeders and exhibitors. I just think there's a tremendous amount of quality out here. Cody and I are really in agreement, just 100%. I think there's 2 of these individuals out here that probably excel. They're hard beef cattle to breed in your own programs. They're probably bulls that need to be used in a lot of programs. My congratulations to these exhibitors. We're going to get you a champion reserve and move on into the Purebred Bull Show. Folks, join me in giving these exhibitors a round of applause. It takes a lot of work to prepare these cattle. Congratulations. We're going to get you a champion reserve.
And congratulations, Grand Champion Percentage Simmental Bull. Coming out of that final division, congratulations, JS Simmentals and Minard Show Cattle with Harkers Unleashed. And congratulations, your reserve champion percentage Simmental Bull coming out of our junior division. Congratulations, Bowling Cattle Company, Toll Show Cattle, Bloomberg Cattle, Jones Show Cattle, and Porter Cattle with Maverick. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors. We'll now get started with your purebred Simmental Bull Show.
Well, over here in our Solaire ring, kind of switch things up a little bit and going to jump now into our open optimizers. Great lineup and a great way to start our show today, especially right at the top end. You know, we have some data and some paperwork to thumb through and kind of do that, and I think it could be applicable in a place or two. So many of us know on both sides of the ring, IGS has made these numbers even, I think, more so relevant, important, and accurate, really just over the last 5 to 10 years. So I think that they nod to the cattle, but we're still here to phenotypically get these evaluated, and then you can breed and do some other things otherwise. With that being said, I think the one logically to tie into in terms of silhouette, style, shape is going to be the one that's going to win this particular class. These heifers in 1 and 2 have some similarities relative to how they're built up front and out of their hip. You could relax them in both of those places. One that wins just a shot more maternal center to her rib, and frankly, I like the shape to her head. It reads a little cowier, a little less typey to me. Just small things, but that's what sorts them on a really well-fit, well-presented, well-fed kind of pair. Heifer that's going to end up in second, similar in terms of really shapely, has some honest muscle, really a big topped outlier on paper when you study that birth to growth spread, still maintaining some milk. Just for me though, maybe her type and kind doesn't match, just not as ultra feminine as that one that wins up front. That one too, give her a little bit more length, security in the way that she sets down and travels. Really like this heifer that's going to end up in third. I think next generation, that's the one that could make some herd bulls just because she has that really durable, heavy duty, rugged kind of look and build. Unfortunately, relative to the eye appeals of those ones right ahead of her, just today reads a little bit plainer as we think about putting a halter on them and showing them. That's enough to sort her into third. Heifer in fourth, really upstanding, tall-shouldered, lots of length and extension on that one. Trouble for me is I don't mind big cattle, but if they're going to have that extra shot of height, I'd like them with some substance, some center body to accommodate. That may come once we get this heifer bred, put a little bit more resources in her. Right now, just like to tone her down in terms of frame or relative to her bigger kind, just give her a little bit more substance and mass, but has some unique look and length and breeding pieces. Great way there to start our optimizer heifers.
Well, congratulations over here in our open optimizer heifer show. First place, we'll go to Chloe Vogt of Holmes, Kansas with JB Cali 9K. Second place exhibited by Sage Eitz of Alden, Iowa. Third place in that class exhibited by Iris Peterson of Wayland, Iowa. And fourth place will go to Brooklyn Matlock. We'll now look to see Class 1B optimizer heifer calves born March of 22.
Well, here in our open optimizers, a pair of really nice March springborn heifers, I think distinctly different relative to their type and kind, probably as you want to project them relative to some longevity. Heifer that wins today, just so much more of her, particularly right in there behind her shoulder where true power starts, and I think that facilitates a lot more round kind of shapely rib. She's got a tremendous amount of muscle, really big-footed like that one's column of bone. She's one, just as we study her as an individual, because they haven't made a perfect one yet, we'd maybe like to point her a little bit more north and south up front, kind of starting to wing out of her shoulder. She's a little bit restricted in her hip. Maybe the one in second doesn't necessarily right that enough to make it a close competition. Be an interesting one to see how she holds up as she continues with time and age, but right now has the bloom, has the look to be that class-winning. Heifer in second, I really like her in terms of her softness, looseness of hide. I think she's got some Solaire character. I like that about her. Just compared to that one that not only is she a little bit flatter in the shape to her rib and her muscle, but she too's one that maybe wants to twist a little bit up front. Aesthetically, would like to shorten her in her toe, and I think that'd let her set down on her pastern a little bit more comfortably, a little frailer in comparison to that one that wins. Not meaning to be critical on those two, just discussing the differences because they're good kind, just different cattle, and I think they deserve that. But a really good class there in our March optimizers.
Congratulations in Class 1B, first place. So go to Easton Leibhart of Maryville, Missouri, with DJF Carson 243K. And second place in that class exhibited by Kylie Nadorman of Marshall, Missouri. We'll now look to see Class 1C. These will be Optimizer Junior Heifer calves born February of 22. Well, looks like we're about ready to get started back in the Simmental ring. In just a minute, we're going to get started with your Purebred Bull show. We'll get started with Class 23 Purebred Simmental Bulls born April to May of 22. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here in Jim Norick, we are going to wait just a minute to get started over here in your Simmental ring, but when we do, we'll get started with your Purebred Bull show.
Well, here in our Optimizer show, yet again, as we progress through these February females, probably if you've been following the bouncing ball just the last few classes, could kind of predict relative to type and kind. Heifer that wins, just really that blue ribbon winner today in terms of that power that she has. And I'll be the first to admit, this one appears to have some age and some size for a February heifer, but independent on how far we progress in age on these, she's still the heifer that's just so much better right there in her forerib, has more true center, lots more base width, and for as much more mass and substance that she has, I think acceptable in how she gets around, particularly there how she blends in her shoulder. This one's an interesting study and a little bit part of the problem with the fictional world of showing cattle. We want them fat, well conditioned as calves. That one, I think, probably needs slowed up relative to condition. She's already a little past 12 o'clock, but an easy doing one with that kind of mass. Bottom line, always profit in those kind. Heifer in second is one that I like. I wouldn't necessarily say from a freshness standpoint, but she is leaner. You can particularly read that there in her neck, just in terms of her indicators, her pone fat right there at her udder. She's one, though, that's quite a bit narrower for me. And with maybe the kind of apparent age that she has in her head, she's a little bit more open in her shoulder, maybe runs a little bit the wrong direction there when you study her at the top of her blade in relation to her pin set, and then how she goes to the ground. I think if that one continues to develop, again, gestationally can get a little bit more advanced come this time next year. She's got lots of good parts and pieces. Again, that's a really nice, usable pair there of our February Optimizer females.
Well, congratulations in Class 1C. First place to go to Rowell Cattle Company, and second place, and congratulations to ELS Livestock. We'll now look to see Class 1D Optimizer Junior Heifer calves born January of 22. Well, at this time over here in Ring 1, we're bringing in those Class 23 exhibitors, purebred Simmental bulls born May to April to May of 2022.
Well, over here in our Optimizer, a really nice class of winter-born heifer calves. Maybe a little bit different than in some of the previous classes. The one that wins is more so what I've been looking for in terms of that real cow-like body shape, head, neck, how she's built in her shoulder. She's built for speed and her underpinnings underneath, the way she goes to the ground, really square and appropriate, grabs some ground with a really athletic stride and doesn't disappoint you. Actually, she's the one right there in the center portion of her body has quite a bit more drop and depth while still having more than enough spring and suppleness there. Heifer in second, she may be more your kind and probably quite a bit different genetics than that one right ahead of her. She's a little bit typier there through her head, a little bit thicker, crestier in her neck, and I think functionally from a longevity standpoint, question mark on her, how she's built in her shoulder. If you watch her come right at you, you can even see it from the side. She's bold and kind of open in her shoulder, wants to wing out front, not as is comfortable in the set in her hip. Functionally like to set her down in her tail head, give her a little bit more stability on that rear foot and ankle. Again, don't mean to be overly critical of that one. They're just a really nice pair of females. Just discussing how I read them. Really like the utility, though, the one that wins.
Well, congratulations over here in the Optimizer ring. First place will go to WWCS Power Play 539K, exhibited by White Women Creek Slayers. Second place in that class, congratulations to Brooklyn Matlock. We'll now look to see Class 1E. These will be Optimizer winner heifer calves born October to December of 21.
Definitely some conversation on this top end of these bulls and all the way down through this class. Hey, the young man's bull that we're going to land on here to start off with, I think just from a quality standpoint, he's the one that's really elevated through his front end, one that's just really tidy about the way that he is through his throat latch and his jaw line there, one that comes back and he's good in his forerib, maybe not quite as good through his flank and his lower 1/3 as the bull in second, but I think one that just offers a little sounder package as he gets out and goes out of the whole front 1/3 of his skeleton there. A really high quality, nicely balanced individual when this young man gets him parked on the side. young man, or the young lady's bull coming around next here, one that's good in his rib cage, and I think that he's more balanced in his underline than the calf that wins. We just got to tweak him just a little bit at the point of his shoulder. He wants to labor just ever so slightly out of his knee there, but you got to appreciate the extra dimension this one's got, one that's got some balance from the side profile, one that really opens up down the top side of his skeleton. We tweaked that in his front end, and this is a real good bull calf. Young man's Baldy bull coming around, sound, structured bull, one that just wants to get a little more elevated in his frame size. I'm not holding that against him, but I think that's a disadvantage in his rib shape design comparable to the two bulls that go ahead of him today. Pair of red bulls there in the middle. We just got to get both those bulls to be sounder out of both ends of their skeleton as they come around here to make them more competitive. And the young man's bull that rounds out the class, one for me that just gives up some performance and some shape and dimension when you step right in behind this calf. I'd like to just make him boulder sprung all the way through his design. Nice group of bulls. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Well, over here in our optimizer ring, a really good group of 4 females, though, within these senior heifer calves, though particularly at the top end. One that wins, just frankly good cattle. Don't think we have to put a label on her, especially as we get down to brass tacks, regardless of how they're registered, but just hybrid females. She's the kind, if you saw her in the pasture, it wouldn't matter what breed or what her influence is. She'd just be good cattle. And then she's got that extra bow on the hat of being well fit, well fed, well presented. Just dialed in, ready to come to town today. Just a really nice package, kind of everything that we'd ask for at this stage and this level. Heifers in 2 and 3, similar in terms of their type and kind, just in terms of they have some upgrowth, some true leanness, expressive kind of muscle. One location alone, it's how they're built up front that for me separates them pretty quickly. Heifer that wins, so much squarer and truer, more appropriate in the way that she goes to the ground, better angle in her shoulder, that allows her just more reach, and I think in the end, more longevity in terms of production. Heifer in 3rd reads a little bit like I'd expect on paper as one that's high birth weight but got some growth. You see that just in that boldness, stoutness in her head, really wide-chested, really opened up front. In that same location, though, she really wants to twist, get narrow at her knee in relation to how she splays out up front. Just can't quite handle herself, already wants to labor and lumber. Unfortunately, as these are still senior calves, I'm afraid that's only going to get exacerbated with age and time. A red heifer that ends up in 4th, probably, I'll be the first to admit, most appropriate for a fall heifer calf in terms of her size and just her maturity indicators. Unfortunately, there's just not enough of her. Really wants to narrow up, get quite a bit frailer at the ground. Again, we'd like to shorten her up in her toe a little bit. Just not near as much of her, but still a really usable, good kind of optimizer female. Still yet the kind, even for a 4th place, could be the kind you could start a herd with.
Well, congratulations over here in the Optimizer Ring, Class 1E. First place will go to JB Jolene 35J, exhibited by Jace Belts of Canton, Kansas. Second place, exhibited by Caden Geffert of Hiawatha, Kansas. Third place will go to Isabel Peterson, and 4th place, Taylor Phillips. Back over in the Simmental Ring, results out of your first class, the Simmental Spring Bull Calves. First place exhibited by Ty Kitzrow of St. Charles, Iowa, with TK Manifest. Second place in that class exhibited by CNN Cattle Company of Roland, Iowa. Third place will go to Brian Rosenquist of Yale, Oklahoma. 4th place will go to Catherine Robinson. And 5th place to Catherine Robinson. Now in the ring is Class 24, purebred Simmental Bulls, born March of 2022.
Well, just a single entry here in our Optimizer show, a May Intermediate Summer Heifer. Just, I think, a really complete kind of brood cow prospect. Average, and I mean that in a positive way. Middle of the road will keep you out of the ditches relative to how she reads on paper, but also out here. Just one of those that I think long-term built for production. Maybe as we think about aesthetically today, just a little bit plainer, narrow in the way that she goes to the ground, maybe a little bit wider and thicker and staler up high in relation to her frailer feature underneath, just discussing her as an individual, but nonetheless a really nice class winner, represent this age group well once we bring them all back out here.
Really good trio bulls back over here on the Simmental side to sort through, and the young ladies bull that we elected to use and lead off with here. Once again, just from a quality standpoint, that's the bull that surfaces to the top for us. Very nicely presented bull, but more importantly, he's built really good out of his hooks from pins down into his rear hock and pastures. You watch him get out and go, center body width and dimension certainly fits the bill there. If you're going to nitpick on him, I'd like to change just the nickel the way he's constructed from that knee down to the ground off his front end. The gentleman's bull that comes next in line, I think he most closely resembles that class winner he used just from a body type standpoint and his muscle shape relative to the bull that comes right in behind him. He's built stouter at the ground. There's more foot, there's more bone work and more rib in that bull relative to the gentleman's bull that comes third. That's an extremely long-sided, long pattern, really smooth kind of a bull that comes third. Unfortunately, he becomes the frailer mate bull. Quite simply, just runs out of dimension relative to those two nice calves ahead of him. But a nice trio. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Well, a really nice late winter yearling female out here, just a single entry representative. Really like where she's at, kind of relative to the bovine timeline in terms of a 2-year-old just getting ready to calve at 2. And I think you can really read that in her. Be interesting to see how the udder sits in on that one once they calve her out. But just love her center body, so soft, lots of flesh and doability. Maybe just as we think about judging them today, she's one that's maybe pushing the upper limits in terms of condition. That happens with age. I could say the same about myself. I could use leaned up here as I've progressed in age, but that's just a really nice single entry representative, really good bred female in our Optimizer show.
Well, congratulations back over here in the Optimizer ring. Results out of Class 1G, first place was exhibited by McCoy Livestock, and first place in Class 1H exhibited by Taylor Phillips. We'll now bring in those class winners in seconds and select a champion and reserve champion Optimizer female. Back over in the Simmental ring, results out of Class 24. First place went to Boss Lake Genetics of Stony Plain, Alberta. Second place exhibited by Kaylee Stoutenborough. And third place in that class exhibited by Purdue University of West Lafayette, Indiana.
Selection here for this bull calf division, and two nice class winners out here. The young man's bull won, so as we talked about him, from the one that had the quality side profile, neater about his neck and head there, and sounder about his front end. I think we get him out here, and he's still one that's got a tremendous amount of presence and look, and a lot of future in this bull calf. One that's still youthful about his look, but I think one that you project this one out, this one goes on and makes a really nice yearling bull for this young man. Nice calf to win that, represent that first class. The big bold bull here that Cody just described in class, I think another one that, really, really stout when you step in behind him. You got to appreciate that for him. A bull that's good in his underline, one that really balances up, some extra power and stoutness amongst this pair out here. Let's go ahead and give these exhibitors a round of applause. We'll get you a champion reserve in this bull calf division.
Well, congratulations over here in the Simmental ring, your champion spring bull calf coming out of Class 24. Congratulations to Boss Lake Genetics of Stony Plain, Alberta, with Boss Lake departure to 51K. And reserve champion in that division coming out of the same class. Congratulations to Kaylee Stoutenborough of Aurora, Illinois. We're now going to bring in Class 25. These will be purebred Simmental bulls born February of 22.
Well, over here in our Optimizer ring, just an incredible lineup of cattle as we think about selecting a champion reserve. And a nice thing that we have a crowd and lots of spectators to see these cattle because we should. I think lots of times we've gotten in this frame of mind where it's easy to say these are really good for a insert breed of cattle, really good judge for a female. Heard it all. but I think it's really important to just recognize good cattle. Obviously, we have the opportunity to register them, to provide some guidance for individuals, hopefully, ideally, in the commercial business in terms of what they're getting, because there is nothing more powerful than essentially a crossbred cow or animals that have that documented two-breed hybrid vigor to next generation, have some heterosis. Big picture, industry-wide, those are the things that we should all be focused on. But then we get down and we get out here, and these are an immaculately presented, really dialed-in set of cattle. So there's those little extras that kind of maximize the package. And I think this particular group should be seen, should be represented, and certainly recognized for their ability to do all-encompassing everything that we'd ask of one that's going to hang a banner at the Cattlemen's Congress. I'm a pretty good poker player most of the time until it gets down to cattle that I really like. It's probably pretty easy to know which one I'm a fan of out here. If you know my background, that wouldn't be much of a surprise. Lots of good cattle out here. I think one, though, that fits with that one really well, though, in terms of type and kind. Each and every one of these cattle, though, outstanding, certainly just good cattle. Not for optimizers. They're good for the cow business. Round of applause to all these exhibitors. I'll go out and show you which two I like best.
And congratulations, Grand Champion Optimizer Female here at the Cattlemen's Congress. Coming out of Class 1E, congratulations goes to Jace Belts of Canton, Kansas with JB Jolene, 35J. And congratulations, your reserve champion optimizer female will go to Rowell Cattle Company of Ninnekah, Oklahoma with MJR Carla 79K. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors. We'll look to get started in just a moment here in Ring 2 with your Junior Slayer Show.
As Cody and I go through this trio of bulls out here, the young ladies bull, I think, surfaces quite handily for us. A bull that's got a tremendous amount of quality. I like this bull's extension. I like how neat and tidy his shoulder lays into his skeleton, long and elevated about his head and neck there. One that really ties in high at his shoulder-neck junction. A bull that we ask him to go. I think one that just travels real free and easy. I think a fault-free place to start. Nice calf to get started with. Young ladies Bronco bull, a good, bold, stout, made bull. When you get in behind him, he just wants to round up slightly. I like to pick his pins up and square him up and his hook to pins to make him more competitive, but a nice bull that's got some extra stoutness about him to go in the second hole. Bull here in third, just consequently, he runs out of power and dimension. This bull wants to narrow up as he goes away from us. A bull that we just, I think, pounds and time for him. He's got a good look from the side, a long body, good balance kind of a calf. We're just changing the way he gets out and goes off of his hind two.
Well, congratulations in Class 25. First place will go to MR Cattle of Lowry, Minnesota with FPL, known by all 202K. Second place in that class exhibited by Floyd and Amber Robinson of Morris, Oklahoma. And third place will go to Catherine Robinson of Hedgesville, West Virginia. We'll now start Class 26, purebred Simmental bulls born January of 22. This will be your final class in this division.
Nice pair of bulls to sort through here. And the gentleman's bull, the black bull we elected to use, that's the longer top bull. He's cleaner underneath in terms of his sheath as well. And when you talk from a masculinity standpoint, and the bulls we got out here certainly fits the bill. He's got more than enough shape. He's good in his testicles. Is he just as bold and wide right in, particularly right in behind his shoulder and the top side of his top line? Probably not. As a red bull that comes in second, and we appreciate that about him. A big hip kind of a bull that's good in his testicles as well. We're going to nitpick on him. I'd like to change his foot size and shape as he sets down, particularly off his rear too. But that's a high quality bull. It's still got some utility to him as well. Congratulations, nice pair of bull calves.
Moving here, selection of your second division of these purebred bull calves, and two nice class winners out here. And I think bulls that kind of fit the bill of what we were talking about. Bulls that are long, got some balance about them, and bulls that when you get in behind them still have some muscle shape and dimension. I think a nice pair of class winners out here. There's a pair of bulls that really fit up nice for a champion in reserve in this division in Cody and I's mind. We're going to go out and show them to you. My congratulations to these bull calf exhibitors in this second division.
In our fall division here, just a single entry, obviously, and he'll be your automatic division champion, but a nice individual to do so that could stand some competition. The young man's got a bull that has some look and some balance to him. He's long and strong down his top line. He's laid in pretty good up into his shoulder. A bull that we're going to get critical on him. You might want to give him just a shot more rear flank and stouten him up when you get right behind him. That's a smooth patterned, nicely balanced kind of a bull that stays sound enough in his makeup. Congratulations to him.
Well, back over in the Simmental ring, your champion junior bull calf comes out of class 26. Congratulations goes to J.C. Massey with New Trend Pursuit 5K. And reserve champion junior bull calf will go to Blake Hendricks of Okarche, Oklahoma with Mr. J.H. Cadillac Revenge K216. In your senior bull calf division, your champion exhibited by Blake Steele of Republic, Missouri with Steele Express Lane 37J. Now in the Simmental rings, class 28. These are purebred Simmental bulls born March to April of 21. Well, back over here in ring 2, we're going to get started with your Junior Slayer show. We'll bring in Class 1A early spring heifer calves born April of 22.
Well, a really nice single entry as we start off over here in the Salier show. A really nice built female, really sound structured. I like the design of this heifer. Really a long-bodied, long-fronted heifer who I think will have a really good future ahead of her. Let's put our hands together for this exhibitor.
Well, congratulations, and a nice way to start out your Junior Slayer show. First place in Class 1A. We'll go to STP KCG01K, exhibited by Taylor Phillips of New Boston, Missouri. We'll now bring in Class 1B. This will be early spring heifer calves born March of 22.
You know, probably as we get out here in this yearling bull class here, 4 bulls and 4 high-quality bulls and bulls that sure have some place to breed at all different levels. And I think that there's things we change about each and every one of them, and maybe as hard a decision as we've had to make today, because I think this top trio of bulls, there's just a tremendous amount of useful. I guess for Cody and I, probably if you're going to go home and the one that I think that I project out as the bull that's going to has these great big pieces, and he's going to be the one that just can really make those dynamite show heifers, and I'm not one trait breeding here. I'm just talking about this bull's got some ginormous pieces. He's so elevated in the front end of his skeleton. He's so neat through the top side of his skull and the way that he is in the top side of his neck. I'd like to see a little more condition on this bull. I think if this bull had a little more condition, a little more flank, he's really easy to come out here, and I think that, you know, you have those conversations back and forth. The bull in second, I think we'd like to take a little condition off him, and I think maybe that becomes a hindrance. I love this bull's underline. He does have an advantage in his flank and his forerib comparable to the bull that wins the class. I think a bull that I'd like to change his skull. I'd like to just fix him in his throat latch, change that bull's skull ever so slightly, but he's a really safe bull here to set in second. He's sound on his feet and legs, and he's high quality in that. The bull here, as he comes out here and he can go in the conversation to win the class at times. This bull, the longer he's out here, and I love this bull from the side. He's really balanced from his forerib back into his flank. You step in behind him, he's pulled apart and got plenty of dimension to him. He wants to just get outside of himself at times when he travels about the ring, and that's getting just incredibly nitpicky on a bull that we think quite a little bit of in this particular class. The red bull, a stout, powerful bull, a bull that's just really nicely designed. He's probably doesn't have the extra length about his front 1/3, probably not quite as tidy out of his chest floor back into his forerib as the cattle go in front of him today, but a real useful breeding kind of bull that's got a tremendous amount of utility, a sound functional kind of a bull to round out the class. My compliments to those breeders on a really, really high class of bulls.
Well, a single entry on our side over here, and this heifer is one that's really highly presented. Just love the look of this female, one that just puts a lot of really good pieces together for us, really good built from the ground up, and one that just really puts a lot of really good things together for us. We'll evaluate her further in a bit, but let's put our hands together for her.
Well, congratulations over here in your Junior Slayer show. First place in Class 1B will be That's Kelsey 913, exhibited by Taylor Phillips of New Boston, Missouri. We'll now look to see Class 1C Junior heifer calves born February of 22. Back over in the Simmental ring, results of Class 28. First place exhibited by C4 Landing Cattle, Weber and Smith in Wrightsenstein, Perkins, Oklahoma, with RCSFI Credence 417J. Second place in that class exhibited by Claire Morgan of Eagan, Louisiana, with RPCMFM Perfect Timing J016. Third place was exhibited by Hortzman Cattle Company of West Lafayette, Indiana, and fourth place will go to Bars Cattle Co. Now in the ring is Class 29 purebred Simmental bulls born February of 21.
Well, we have another nice single entry on this side, a really long-bodied level-made female. One that if we were going to change, maybe we just drop her in that flank a bit, see her go just a little truer when she gets out on the lead. Let's put our hands together for him.
Just a single entry back over here on the Simmental side here, but a bull that could definitely stand some competition. A super high quality bull here from this side or view. Gives you a good look, has some presence about him. From a functionality standpoint, the bull has some body and he's good in terms of his testicles with some shape as well. Just a nice package to win this single entry class. Congratulations.
Well, congratulations over here in Ring 1. Results on a Class 29 purebred Simmental Bulls. First place will go to Elmore Cattle Services, XTB Cattle Co. in Berlowitz Cattle of Cushing, Oklahoma, with I Reckon 043J. We'll now bring those first and seconds in, select the champion reserve here in your junior division. Back over in our Slayer ring. Results on a Class 1C. First place went to LMB Coco 271K, exhibited by Landon Liebhart of Maryville, Missouri. Now in the ring is Class 1D Junior Heifer Calves, born January of 22.
In this junior bull division is these yearling bulls, and I go describe through these bulls in the last two classes. Tremendous amount of quality in these bulls and a tremendous amount of usefulness in anybody's breeding program, and everybody can utilize these bulls differently. I think there's a pair of these bulls out here that fit pretty good from a soundness standpoint for Cody and I. We're going to go out and show you the two we like them and how we like them in this division. Congratulations to these exhibitors.
Well, the black heifer is going to lead off our class over here. A really, really high quality female. You just love the build and look and the cow power that she brings to the table out here. Her sound structural base and just puts a lot of really good things together for us out here. Just really love the look of that female. The red heifer that's going to come in second. Really love how high she ties that neck in there to her shoulder. Really love her length of body and levelness of lines. One that just gets a nickel straighter up through that front end, gives up the extra power and rib shape that our class winner has today. Let's give these two a round of applause.
Well, congratulations back over here in your junior Slayer ring. Results out of Class 1D. First place went to JB Catherine 2K, exhibited by Iris Peterson of Wayland, Iowa. And second place in that class will go to Taylor Phillips of New Boston, Missouri. We'll now look to see Class 2A. These will be winter heifer calves born October to December of 21. And back in the Simmental ring, results out of your junior bull division. Champion reserve coming both out of Class 28. Congratulations to the champion, C4 Landing Cattle, Weber and Smith and Reitzenstein with RCSFI Credence 417J. And reserve champion exhibited by Claire Morgan of Eagan, Louisiana with RPCM-FM Perfect Timings J016. Now bring in your next class in your final division. This will be Class 30 purebred Simmental bulls born November of 2020.
Another single entry here, but once again, a bull that definitely can stand some competition. That's a powerfully constructed bull. He has a little extra shot of foot and bone underneath of him. Big rib cage set into him as well. Really wide and bold down that top line. A nice individual here in this single entry class. Congratulations.
Well, congratulations back in the Simmental ring. Results out of Class 30. First place exhibited by Sierra Hoselman of Morlington, Arkansas. We'll now look to see your final class of purebred Simmental bulls. This will be Class 31. Simmental bulls born March through April of 21.
Nice pair of heifers over here in the Solear show. The heifer that's going to start off the class, the one that has a little more body shape, a little more depth of body and spring rib. Really like how long-bodied this female is. Really like how sound structured she is when she gets around the ring. If we were going to get picky on her, she could have just a little more fore-rib shape, a little more center body, but one that puts a really nice package together for us. The heifer that's coming in second, a really stout bone female. She's wide when you get in behind her. One that's certainly got plenty of springer rib. I just like to deepen her up there through her flank, give her more depth of body. Maybe see her go with just a nickel longer stride when she gets out on the lead. Let's give these two a round of applause.
Well, congratulations in Class 2A over here in your Slayer ring. First place. We'll go to LC's Lady 126, exhibited by Kaylee Ryan McKay of Hiawatha, Kansas. Second place in that class exhibited by Carson McKay, also of Hiawatha, Kansas. We'll now look to see Class 4A. These will be early spring yearling heifers born March of 21.
Well, a nice single entry on this side of the ring. A really broody made, cowie made female with a lot of center body shape, one that's sound structured when she gets on the lead. If we were going to change her, we'd make her just a little neater to look at today, smooth her up in that shoulder a bit, just clean her up in her front end just a bit as well. Let's put our hands together for her.
And congratulations in Class 4A over here in Ring 2, first place. We'll go to JCGC Juliet 135, exhibited by Iris Peterson of Wayland, Iowa. We'll now look to see Class 4B. These will be junior yearling heifers born February of 21.
A really nice single entry for this exhibitor here. One that really gets out and moves well when she gets out on the lead. She's got a really neat show ring look from the side there. Ties that neck in high. Really bold sprung and deep bodied there as well. A really nice entry for him. We'll evaluate her further in a minute. Let's give him a round of applause.
Well, congratulations in Class 4B, first place, exhibited by Kyler Arnold Gefford of Hiawatha, Kansas. We're now going to bring in your final class of junior Soleil heifers. This will be Class 4C, junior yearling heifers, born January of 21.
Well, really, one single entry here, really a cowie made, broody made female. Really just love the rib shape and body shape that she has. Maybe pushing a little more condition on her today. We'll evaluate her further here in just a second. Let's congratulate this exhibitor.
pair of bulls here to round out this class here, and differences in their frame size and shape. The bull that we're going to elect to use to win the class here, one from a balance standpoint, I think he's truer out the back side of his shoulder there. I think one that's just truer in his heart and forerib. Bull that really balances up nice from the side. I'm going to get critical. I might change the way this one handles his front feet when he comes at you. Maybe want to be a little flatter there when he gets out and goes. But I think a bull that's just got some true balance and shape and dimension to him, comparable to the bull that goes next. A big frame bull here and a great outline bull. And when this gentleman gets this one parked on the side, he can give you an incredible look, and one that's got a tremendous amount of usefulness. If you need to add a little frame size in your cattle, probably what I've got to change about him is I've got to change him in his heart there. He's one that just wants to be a little more concave right behind his shoulder, comparable to the bull that goes next. But a nice pair of these big bulls, differences in their types and kinds for us today.
Well, congratulations in that final class of purebred Simmental bulls, first place, exhibited by Rockin' P Livestock, Circle M Farms, Red River Farms, and Griswold Cattle with Rockin' P Private Stock H0110. In second place in that class, exhibited by XTB Cattle Company, JS Simmentals, Fenton Farms, and Elmore Cattle Services of Wacomas, Oklahoma, with JS keeping it 90-39H. Well, we're going to bring those first and seconds in, select the champion reserve here in your Senior Bowl division. And back over here in ring 2, our judge is going to select her grand and reserve grand champion, Junior Slayer females. Ladies and gentlemen, here in the Jim Norick Arena, let's put our hands together for our judge today in our junior show, Mrs. Cass Newell of Yukon, Oklahoma.
Nice trio of bulls out here for selection as we round up this purebred bull show, and I definitely believe we get these lined up out here briefly for that final drive. It's going to be a real high quality drive. Nice pair of class winners out here. The bull that wins that class, Cody talked about single entry, big, bold, stout, rugged individual. Got to appreciate that about him. Maybe one that wants to round up slightly in his hip. We'd like to pick him up in his pins ever so slightly, comparable to the bull right behind him. But sure, a nice bull to represent a single entry class there. Young man bringing his bull around here. Shouldn't just talked about him, and a bull that we just think balances up awfully nicely from the side and got a tremendous amount of shape and dimension when you get in on top of this guy. We're going to show you how we like this champion reserve in this division. Nice senior division of these big bulls out here in your purebred show.
Well, as we bring all these class winners in second place out for this grand drive, I think there's a lot of quality all the way from top to bottom. Maybe not the most numbers out here, but a ton of quality. There's a couple of them that soared up in my mind, just having that extra show look, extra rib shape, extra power out here today, and ones that are definitely going to take the breed even further. We'll go out and select us a champion in reserve, but let's congratulate all these exhibitors in the junior show out here. They've done an excellent job today.
Well, congratulations over here in the Simmental ring. Your champion Senior Bull coming out of Class 31. Congratulations, Rockin' P Livestock, Circle M Farms, Red River Farms, and Griswold Cattle. And reserve in that division will go to XTB Cattle Co., JS Simmental's Fenton Farms, and Elmore Cattle Services. At this time, we're going to bring in those division champion and reserves, and our judges will select their grand and reserve grand champion purebred Simmental bulls. And congratulations over here in the Slayer ring. Your grand champion junior female coming out of Class 1D. Your champion will go to Iris Peterson of Wayland, Iowa with JB Catherine 2K. And reserve champion coming out of Class 1B. Congratulations goes to Taylor Phillips of New Boston, Missouri. We'll now get started over here in ring 2 in just a minute with your National Slayer Heifer Show. And at this time in ring 1, we are bringing in all of those division champion and reserves. Ladies and gentlemen, sitting here in the Jim Norick Arena, let's put our hands together for our purebred Simmental bull exhibitors.
One other high quality bull show as we get through the purebreds here. And, you know, as we started out through those calf classes, there's some give and take in projecting those bulls out. But you get these division lineup out here, and I think you really got to be pleased with the cattle that we have to select from for your grand champion bull. You know, bull calf down here, stout built, stout skulled kind of an individual, goes on, and I project him to look like these big bulls down here next year. Nice group of these bulls through the middle. Two big bulls out here representing those two very, very competitive divisions that we just wrapped up. And I think that you guys go around ringside and you use these bulls to the best of your ability in your breeding programs, just like I will. And I think that there's plenty of useful cattle out here. Tremendous job. Like I said earlier today, my compliments to these exhibitors because it's hard to make them like this. You know, I think we're at a point here where these Simmental cattle are so good, and it makes me proud because, you know, as most of you know, I showed Simmentals back when showing Simmentals wasn't necessarily cool, and nowadays I think these are the elite cattle in our industry, and this is a great representation of those out here. If you would around ringside, join me, and let's give these purebred exhibitors a great big round of applause. We're going to get you a champion reserve bull and move on to the heifer show.
And congratulations, your grand champion purebred Simmental Bull coming out of your Junior Bull division. Congratulations. We'll go to C4 Landing Cattle, Weber and Smith and Reitzenstein with RCSFI, Credence 417J. And congratulations, your reserve grand champion, Simmental Bull, here at the Cattlemen's Congress. Coming out of Class 31 in your final division, congratulations, Rockin' P Livestock, Circle M Farms, Red River Farms, and Griswold Cattle with Rockin' P Private Stock H010. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors. Before we break for pictures, we are going to bring in your cow-calf pair. For those of you following along in your program, we are going to move Class 47, which was your senior heifer division, to a cow-calf pair class, and we'll start that class right now before we go into our picture break. Again, this will be Class 31A.
We've just got a single entry here in the cow-calf division portion of the show, and going to be your automatic champion. But I tell you what, folks, very deserving. This is a very high-quality pair. First-time mama, first calf heifer, and doing a great job with a little fancy heifer baby alongside of her as well. That one's good in terms of her teat and udder placement. She has some quality and some rib and dimension to her. Good in terms of structure, and it'll be fun to watch this little heifer baby grow and develop for him as well. But congratulations on a very high-quality pair to be your champion.
Well, congratulations, your champion cow-calf pair here in Simmental Show at the Cattlemen's Congress, exhibited by Eli Mundy of Speedwell, Tennessee, with WHF Andy 368H. Again, congratulations to those folks. We're going to take a brief break over here in Ring 1 for photos, and we'll get started with your purebred heifer show. Well, at this time, we're going to get started with your National Slayer Heifer Show. We'd like to welcome back your judge to the ring, Miss Emily Griffiths of Kendallville, Indiana. First class in the ring will be Class 1, Early Spring Heifer Calves, born April of 22.
Well, over here as we start our Solaire Open show, a really nice pair of spring-born heifers. I think just at maybe a little different stages relative to their condition, bloom and fill today, and that's ultimately what's going to sort them. They actually have lots of similarities in terms of the kind of structure, heavy dutiness of build, some true muscle. I think next generation terminal incentives in that regard, but just in terms of some maternal traits, just like that extra shot of center body that the heifer that wins has, a little more uniform also in her body depth. Add that to the convenience factor of a little lower, more moderate birth weight. Heifer that's going to end up in second, I think you can say lots of similar things. Really extended, I think a really lean, raw, genuine design kind of a heifer at this stage, but that's enough to set her into second. Just not that extra shot of physical fill and center body, a little bit plainer in the way that she balances, and it's enough for the deciding factor in that pair, but a really good duo there of April-born heifer calves in our high-percentage purebred Solaire show.
Well, congratulations over here in the Slayer ring. Results out of Class 1 first place, exhibited by Taylor Phillips of New Boston, Missouri, with STP KCG01K. Second place in that class will go to Rose Farms of Jonesboro, Tennessee, with RF Daisy 22K. We'll now look to see Class 2 early spring heifer calves born March of 22. Well, we're going to get started back over here in Ring 1 in just a moment with your Purebred Heifer Show. We'll bring in Class 32 Purebred Simmental Heifers born May of 2022.
Well, a really nice pair here of March-born purebred Solaire heifers, and both are really usable, and actually I think probably closer than some may see, though it's pretty obvious the one that needs to win as we put a halter on them and bring them to a show today is the one that's going to do so. Just so graceful and elegant in the way that she patterns, really up-headed, sleek-necked, good-shouldered, more than enough substance, and then she has all that style and swag, really bulletproof kind of structure to go along with it. Heifer in second I probably like, just as you study her indicators, her face and her cannon, in terms of a little bit more moderate real world probably size. Like her more where she sits in that regard for a March female. Trouble is, just from a balance standpoint, falls out of bed today comparatively. Kind of wants to round off at either end, get plenty short up front, get a little general there in the set and travel to her hind leg. Going to be a great show, I think going to be a great cow, just not that show look, not that eye appeal of the one that wins, but a good pair as we progress through our heifer calves.
Well, congratulations in Class 2. First place exhibited by Taylor Phillips of New Boston, Missouri. Second place will go to Rose Farms of Jonesboro, Tennessee. We'll now look to see those first and seconds back in the ring. Select the champion reserve, Spring Heifer Calf.
Well, a really excellent division out here in our Open Solaire show. And again, if this is any indication of what's to come, things are going to get awfully exciting. And if not, that's okay, because we have a tremendous amount of quality out here. You know, we talked in the optimizers about saying good fora. Well, I think actually if you want to start comparing them, purebred cattle are already better than your percentages. That should be exciting to these breeders, those watching, and those that have brought them to town. Great pair of females and of class winners. I think two just kind of fit together between them, one in just kind of her own league, already going to shape up to being a really elite group. But let's give each and every one of these competitors in this spring heifer calf division a round of applause. Nice way to start our Solaire show.
Well, congratulations in our first division over here in your Slayer show. Your Spring Heifer Calf champion coming out of Class 2. Congratulations, Taylor Phillips, and that's Kelsey, 913. Reserve champion will come out of Class 1, going to STP's Casey, G01K, also exhibited by Taylor Phillips. We'll now bring in Class 3. These will be junior heifer calves born February of 22.
Well, here as we make our way into our winter heifer calf division, a really nice trio of females all the way through. Shame we necessarily have to rank them. I think all in today, heifer that wins just dominates from a mass and presence kind of a standpoint, particularly right through to the center portion of her body. Just so much more depth and drop and sweep there, and yet doesn't disappoint like a lot of cattle that we start to eat a plate full of profile on. She's actually got some genuine width and some squareness and substance, gets out and goes and carries that around in really good fashion. Now, I'll be the first to admit, especially this red heifer in second, I read that one a lot more age appropriate through her head, just her general size. Not necessarily here to make a call on that one. Black heifer just needs to win, all things considered today. Heifer, though, in second, actually in third, are really good. I think good, raw, lean design females truly have a lot of muscle. I think they nod probably more so to Solaire characteristics of having some next generation some terminal cutability incentives. We co-op bulls for wolves. They spend a lot of time studying and charting and on the grow safe systems for relative feed efficiency. Those are the two kind of females that are going to do that because they have some size, some true shape and muscle, just don't have that extra shot of center body, don't have that foot and bone that kind of gives them that balanced show ring favor. Red heifer, just a little bit better built in her up front, a little bit more toned down right size. That black heifer, really tall shouldered, love her length and extension. That one up front, question mark on her from a longevity standpoint. She wants to get a little east and west up front, kind of roll and paddle off that front end. We talked about that in our optimizer show. Unfortunately, I think that's only going to get worse as she gets along with age and time and feed and gestation. But that's a really good group of trio of heifers to discuss.
Well, congratulations over here in the Slayer ring. Results out of Class 3. First place to go to JBC, Miss Kitty 72K, exhibited by Jasperson Cattle of Goshen, Utah. Second place in that class, exhibited by Clara Brink of Fremont, Iowa. And third place will go to Landon Liebhart of Maryville, Missouri. We're now going to bring in Class 4. These will be junior heifer calves born January of 22.
I think a real great way to start this purebred heifer show with a pair of females out here that got a tremendous amount of substance and design to them. Young ladies heifer that Cody and I elected to land on here to start with. I think she's just true in her skeleton when we set her in motion. She's the one that's more collective, the way that she handles her hind two. I like the way this one holds her pins when she has to go. You know, a heifer here that probably just when you step in behind her, she's a nickel stout or two. A real nice place to start here. Young ladies heifer second, this other bald-faced heifer. Striking female from the side. I think you really got to love that extra shape she has and the dimension she has down low. Just probably one that, like we talked about, I think wants to just duck her pins ever so slightly. I'd like to make her collect her just ever so slightly on her hind two as she gets out and goes, comparable to our class winner. Young ladies heifer here that comes third. I think one that just with some feed management and time, this one here, she probably give those two in front of her all they want. I think one that's awesome in her structure, killer from the side. I just don't think there's quite as much to her today comparable to the two that go in front of her, but I think an awesome prospect for this young lady, one that just keeps getting better down the road. Another fault-free kind of a female, one really good in the center portion of her body. She's stoutly built, constructed, probably just doesn't set down with quite as much ease and comfort off of her hind two as the three that precede her today, but a really, really nice female there. Young ladies brought us a baldy heifer, one that's long-bodied. She gets this one stopped. She gives you an awfully good look. I think she just runs out of dimension and power and substance. She one that gets a little frailer in her foot and bone work comparable to the cattle that go in front of her today, but I think a real nice kind of a female that's youthful and fresh in her condition. Young man's got a big bone, stout red female here, and with that probably goes just she gets a little coarser in her type and kind for us. We like to change her and just relax her in her shoulder, give her a little more reach as she gets out and goes and comfort as she moves around the ring today. But a nice place to start this purebred heifer show. Congratulations on the top end of this class.
Well, a really great group of January heifers over here, particularly the one that wins. No talk about or listen to my bio. I've got some, fortunately or unfortunately, collegiate judging experience. Lots of people like to throw the book and use all their cool terms on one. I think we can just call that one that wins good cattle and roll on. The sort comes in these next few, probably between this red heifer and the white-uddered one in second and third. For me today is calves in terms of some stayability, having some life left in them. The red heifer just quite a bit better and truer in the way that she goes to the ground, more neat and flat in the way that she's angled and laid in about her shoulder, and she just gets out and goes better up front. Albeit doesn't have as much of her, allows her to motor around a little bit freer than that white heifer-uddered one in third. But that heifer in third is one tremendously good muscled. I like that about her. Really shapely, big up high. She's got the extra shot of width of that pair. Her undoing, though, is also how she's made up front. Just comes quite a bit more open out of her shoulder, starting to waller and waddle and labor a little bit up there. I could maybe switch that pair if we're to this stage and they're moving like that as breds, but at this calf stage, maybe a little question mark there. Heifer that ends up in fourth, leanest, greenest, you could say the freshest, just I don't think has as much bloom, doesn't have as much physical fill or condition today. Luckily, she's the lower milking female, so actually I think maybe that'll allow her in production to stay in a little bit better flesh. That's actually a positive thing in this scenario, just not near the female. That sorts her in fourth when they're all that good.
Well, congratulations over here in their Slayer ring. Results out of Class 4. First place exhibited by Iris Peterson of Wayland, Iowa. Second place will go to Taylor Phillips, New Boston, Missouri. Third place, and congratulations to Fox Grape Farm in Piney River, Virginia. And fourth place, exhibited by Braden Brink of Fremont, Iowa. We'll now bring those first and seconds in, selected junior and reserve junior heifer calf. Back over in the Simmental ring, results out of your first class here in our Purebred Simmental show. First place went to Morgan Jackson of Kaufman, Texas. Second place exhibited by Buck Creek Ranch of Yale, Oklahoma. Third place in that class exhibited by Cadence Kennedy. Fourth place will go to Abigail Spivey. Fifth place exhibited by Dakota, France. We're now going to bring in class 33. These are Purebred Simmental heifers born May of 2022.
Well, a really excellent winner, heifer calf division, and as we've talked throughout the show and continue to appreciate these cattle, I think they could inadvertently end up in the makeup ring there on the other side, and you wouldn't bat an eye at what purebred show they may need to be in. Again, we're not talking just good for a Solaire. These are good for winter heifer calves of any breed. Both really good in terms of our class winners, as are our reserves or respective seconds in these classes. I think you can tell, though, we just paired up, kind of followed the bouncing ball in type and kind and precedent. An awfully good quality duo that'll win. One just a little bit more proportional, a little bit, I think, more comprehensive and complete in the way that she's made and blends today. But there's a lot of good and a lot of fun, and more so a lot of breeding value left in the pair that's going to represent this division in our Solaire show. Round of applause to all these breeder and exhibitors. Great group of heifer calves.
Back on the semi side here, and nice class to sort through. There's quality on all four of these individuals, and the gentleman's heifer we lead off with here. Once again, she's the one that initially hit us in terms of just that quality and presence, and you break her down from there. From a structure standpoint, she certainly fits the bill, enough rib and capacity on a calf at this stage of the game, and ties it all into a super attractive package. 2 and 3 become close to us, and as we discussed them here, the heifer that comes in second reads just a bit more like that heifer we elected to lead off with, just from a maternal standpoint, femininity, the way she's made to her head and her neck down there. She's got a little more mid-rib sweep to her and rear flank as well. I like the way she gets out and moves and is good in her angles. No doubt that the young lady's heifer that comes next in line, third in line, standing still, that one gives you an ultra cool look. She's built exceptionally wide there from her hooks to pins, and wide from her pins down, a little extra shot of foot and bone underneath of her, if you will. She wants to get just a little harder in terms of that rib right in behind her shoulder and her heart and full rib, a little more tucked up in her rear flank. That one's got some really cool pieces you certainly have to appreciate. Young lady that rounds off the class, a bit more moderate type of female in terms of her frame, and we don't hold that against her. She's got some body and some rib and dimension to go along with it. Unfortunately, from a structure perspective, she's the one that falls short out here, a little more stilty or upright in her shoulder there. Need to loosen her up and see her go a little easier. But a nice class to work through. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Well, congratulations back over here in the Solaire ring. Your junior heifer calf champion coming out of class 4, JB Catherine 2K, exhibited by Iris Peterson of Wayland, Iowa. In reserve champion will come out of class 3. Congratulations will go to Jasperson Cattle Co. of Goshen, Utah. Back over the Simmental ring, results out of class 33 purebred Simmental heifers. First place went to Circle M Farms and Rockin' P Livestock with Rockin' P Built to Love K067. Second place in that class was exhibited by Brianna Hicks of Point Blank, Texas. Third place, and congratulations will go to I-5 Cattle Company. And fourth place will go to Mad Luke Cattle Company and Double Image Cattle Co. We're now going to bring in class 34. These will be purebred Simmental heifers born April of 22.
Well, here just a single class in this senior heifer calf division, a nice group of Octobers, all right following kind of the guide rail in between those posts on their EPDs. I think phenotypically, though, obviously we have some sort. Heifer that wins just follows that pattern and precedent and kind, really good up front, heads up, like where her head and neck tie into her shoulder. More importantly, though, a really appropriate amount of substance, kind of as we're into this now long yearling age. age, goes to the ground, really true, square, and appropriate. Young man's heifer in second is one that I really like for her size, that upgrow, boldness, weight per day of age, but she still has some muscle to go along with it. Ruggedness and durability of her foot and her bone work matches that stout framework that she has through upper skeleton. Trouble is, though, especially there as you watch her leave, as big and powerful as she is up high, wants to kind of narrow to her base, wing in behind. We just like to see her take that width all the way to the ground, but that's a really close, good pair of heifers. A little just smoother one gets the nod that wins. Heifer in third, we talked about, I like this one. She's more of a right size female in production for me and for what we're doing. You can make your judgment call on that. Just compared to those two right ahead of her, she gets a little bit plain, coarse, right up there through her chest and throat latch and brisket. Kind of wants to get a little coarser in her bone and joint work. Just doesn't have that belly, that softness there through her center third, but still a really nice heifer, like her size. That's a really good, usable group of that division of senior calves.
Well, congratulations over here in the Slayer ring. Results out of your winner heifer calf division. Your champion will go to Kaylee McKay of Hiawatha, Kansas, with Elsie's Lady 126J. Second place exhibited by Carson McKay, and third place will go to Micah Lynch. We'll now look to start your next division. This will be Class 7 Summer Yearling Heifers, born May to July of 21.
Well, here in our Solaire show, just a single entry in this intermediate summer class, a June female, one really that's ultra fresh, really genuine and honest in the way that she's presented to us. Like her depth, really parallel and proportional in terms of her lines, especially I think if she would get settled in and stopped here on the stand. She's maybe on the go, just as we study and talk about her as an individual, gets a little high-spined, maybe wants to drop a little bit to either end, just like to level her out in terms of her collection and carriage, aesthetically shorten her up in her toe a little bit, but really practical, pliable, kind of a female. I think lots of good in that summer born in our Solaire show.
Well, congratulations in Class 7. First place will go to Rose Farms in Jonesboro, Tennessee. We'll now bring in Class 9. These will be early spring yearling heifers, born March of 21.
a fun class here to break down in your Simmental ring, and definitely some quality amongst several of these out here. Young man that Cody and I land on here with this solid black female, just one that's just, this heifer's really complete. She's not got anything wrong with her. She doesn't have any major holes. She kind of rises to the top because you just keep coming back to her, and she's really not got any major flaws about her. Her structure is spot on out here. You know, I don't think she's the biggest framed one. I don't think she's the most massive one, but I think she's the one that just kind of puts most things together in a really complete package. Fun heifer for him to project out as a yearling. Nice way to start for us on this class. A heifer here, the Baldy female, when this young man gets her parked, she's got some wow factor about her front 1/3. I think a heifer that's really elevated there, really great in her head, and that bald face on there really adds a splash of color. A real nice female. I just don't think maybe she quite as collected. She's wanting to fight the halter ever so slightly, just not quite as collected on the movement as our class winner. The young lady in the pink shirt here coming around, when this one hits the ring, I think this one here rises up to the top of the class pretty quickly. The longer she's out here, she's one that wants to open up in the top side of her shoulder for us just a little bit. We got to just make her more comfortable there to get her any higher amongst that top pair. Another fault-free kind of a female here, one that if we just add just a little bit of belly to this one, I think as feed management comes along, this one here's got a bright future. Heifer that's good in her structure, extra length of body, real picked up in her hip, and square about her pin set there. Nice way to go. Young lady's got a bald face female there, really striking from the side. She runs into trouble on those rear pasterns for us. Maybe wants to open up at the point of her shoulder so slightly to get her better today. A big, bold, sprung female, the young lady in the turquoise shirt exiting the ring there. I think a female that's big, bold, sprung. You like this one on the stand. I got to change her out of both ends to get her more comfortable on the move. The red female, a little bit the same. Add a little bit of flank and belly to this one. Let that one reach and relax in the front end of her skeleton. And I think that's a nicely designed kind of a female. Young man does a great job there at the end. Probably one that just run out of a little bit of performance and production comparable to her contemporaries out here in this group. Congratulations on a real nice class to sort through in this April purebred division.
Well, over here in our Solaire show, a really nice group of springborn March females, all three really different, especially at the top end. Heifer that wins, just really like her presence and pattern today. Specifically, she's quite a bit more picked up there through her front 1/3, her head, her neck, the way she blends into her shoulder and doesn't disappoint you from a body and a substance standpoint. Take her to the ground, she gets out and goes, really tracks and travels appropriately. On paper, she's the outlier in terms of birth weight. We'd like to fix that, but I think that's easier to do in one generation than that toe curl on these next two that, from my opinion, will haunt you in production. Heifer that's going to end up in second, a lot like that one right ahead of her, just in terms of shoulder back, like her forerib center body, chocked full of red meat and muscle. At this stage, though, starting to get a little stale, a little bit coarse up front, not just in her head shape, but through her neck and shoulder, coming apart a little bit more there. Gets a little bit lower fronted as you watch her track and travel. And then we mentioned that toe curl on her, like the one in third, just kind of becomes my limiting factor personally. Heifer that's going to end up in third, really good long-term brood cow prospect, just as simple as she doesn't pound out like those other two, certainly doesn't have the look of the one that wins, not as heavy structured and tough built as that one in second, and that's enough just to kind of sort her into third, but still going to be a nice cow for that young man.
Well, congratulations over here in ring 2, results on a class 9 first place. Exhibited by Micah Lynch of Irvine, Kentucky, with TTG Blossom Julia 40J. Second place exhibited by Iris Peterson, and third place will go to Rose Farms. We're now going to bring in those first and seconds, select a champion reserve here in your junior division. Back over in the Simmental ring, results out of class 34, April-born purebred Simmental heifers. First place went to McCoy Landwehr of Enid, Oklahoma, with STCC GB1 Serena Sam 210K. Second place in that class will go to Robinson Cattle Co. of Cushing, Oklahoma, with FRKG Countess 947K. Third place in that class, also exhibited by Robinson Cattle Co. Fourth place will go to CNN Cattle Company. Fifth place, exhibited by Peyton Hartle of Arbuckle, California. Sixth place, exhibited by Kendall Raff of Rockport, Indiana. Seventh place will go to Riley Williams of Tecumseh, Oklahoma. And 8th place in that class, and congratulations to Diamond R Black Simmental. Now in the ring is Class 35, Purebred Simmental heifers born March of 22.
Well, a nice trio out here to represent this particular group of these spring and summer yearlings. As good as they all are, I think pretty logically, a pair of heifers that just go together, have the advantage, probably just a little bit more gestationally obvious age and bloom. Our heifers out of our second class will be your champion and reserve. We'll think a round of applause for them as they get this heifer caught in the other ring, but great group of these particular age females.
Well, congratulations. Back over here in the Slayer ring, your junior champion heifer coming out of Class 9, exhibited by Michael Lynch, and reserve also coming out of Class 9. Congratulations to Iris Peterson. We'll now bring in Class 10. These will be junior yearling heifers born February of 21.
Well, over here in our Purebred Solaire show, a really nice pair of late winter yearling February heifers. I think they each are going to be really outstanding Solaire kind of females in production. One that wins, just appreciate, I think, probably a little bit farther along in calf is what the nod to some extra rib shape, drop right there to her center body, and yet still maintain such incredible length. Really a good structured female, too. I think of the pair a little bit shorter, more refined in her teat size and shape, and as many of us, however, know that calve these out, you really don't know how that udder is going to shape up on those first calf heifers until that calf gets up and nurses the first time. Not a deciding point, just a conversation piece that I also like on that one better. Heifer that's going to end up in second, really lean, raw, green designed. I think all those things are good in terms of getting the honest picture and silhouette of her. Just quite a bit narrower, not near as much of her. Young man's not sure when she's due, and I think maybe just that unknown question mark reads just in terms of her body composition today in these yearling females, but a really nice pair of February Solaire heifers.
Super good class to sort through here, and the top two heifers out here, as Eric and I had talked and discussed. We think these two are pretty good, and there's some differences in them, obviously. And the heifer we elected to use, as you study them right here, the way her neck comes out of the top side of her shoulder, I think she's laid back just a nickel better in that shoulder, makes her get out and reach just a bit more off that front end. She too's set a bit wider at her pins, got a little shot of extra foot and bone underneath of her in relation to that heifer behind her. Super high quality one to lead off. We like a lot of parts and pieces of the heifer in second as well. You want one that's ultra smooth and feminine and gives you a maternal kind of look. She certainly does that. Big middle, big centered kind of a heifer that stays good in terms of her structure as well. At times you want to catch her just a little more upright in her shoulder, and there's not as much to that heifer. When you get right behind her, a little closer at her hocks as she goes away from you. Young man that's doing a great job out here battling it. The heifer doesn't want to cooperate the best today, but he's got a nice heifer. That heifer has some dimension to her, some rib and some power. Unfortunately, she's a little plainer about her head and neck. She wants to get tucked up under her just a nickel as we watch her go. 4 and 5 come here. A big scaled, long-bodied kind of a heifer that rounds the corner coming in fourth. Need to modify her just a bit, and from a structure perspective, and the young lady that rounds off the class has got a really smooth kind of a female with some look and pattern to her. She becomes the frailer made off-balanced heifer of the trio we've got left in the class here. But congratulations to those exhibitors once again. Nice set of heifers.
Well, over here in our Solaire show, just a single entry, January female. It gets oftentimes said for politeness that, you know, it's one that could stand more competition. That's entirely true, whether we have 1 or 100 in this female. Just so good in terms of being a basic beef kind of cattle, so big ribbed, muscle, all of those really kind of durability, heavy, tough, structured performance and weight per day of age aspects that we'd ask of the Solaires. And yet as we think about having her be the kind that can be competitive at a show, has some look, got some flesh. She's maybe starting to push a little bit of condition, and at the same time, maybe like to see her a little bit closer to calving as you study her there in her udder, but that's being a nickel critical of one that's otherwise a dime. Something to note too on her, just so good as you read her on paper. No, it's not the most important thing, but we spend a lot of money and a lot of time, and why not bring one to town that checks every single box? She's a great single entry January representative.
Well, congratulations. Back over here in the Simmental ring, results on a Class 35. First place exhibited by Morgan Jackson of Kaufman, Texas, with 4B Miss Remedy 169K. Second place will go to Blake Hendricks of Okarche, Oklahoma, with Miss BH Cali Girl K208. Third place in that class exhibited by Brooks Collier of Waldo, Arkansas. Fourth place went to Laramie Blakely of Oolaga, Oklahoma. And fifth place will go to Rock and H Simmental of Arcadia, Indiana. Now in the rings, your final class in our Spring Heifer Calf division. This is Class 36. Purebred Simmental heifers born March of 22.
Well, over here in our Solaire ring, a really nice group of winter yearling heifers, particularly the one that's going to win this division. All of these cattle, though, really usable, great structured, really good in terms of their basic build at the ground. Again, pretty easy to follow the bouncing ball. And I'm an awfully big fan of this young lady's heifer. She'll win this division. Heifer out of that younger class will be reserved. Let's give these exhibitors a round of applause.
And congratulations back over here in the Slayer ring. Your senior champion heifer coming out of Class 11. Congratulations goes to Josie Belts of Canton, Kansas with WWCS Jamaican 343J. And reserve champion to come out of Class 10. Congratulations to Kyler Arnold Geffert of Hiawatha, Kansas. We're now going to bring in your division champion and reserves, and our judge will select your grand and reserve grand champion Slayer heifers.
Well, an absolutely incredible lineup here in our Solaire Purebred Female Show. And for me, as somebody that's tried to be a really long-time student of the purebred business, that's our livelihood. That's our bread and butter. I so appreciate and recognize just how much better these purebred cattle are than their percentages. We're talking light kinds, and that's, I think, being off as a good of a respectful comment as you can make on a breed. These cattle are just so good. They've progressed so much. I grew up in some breeds that we were always on the rotation with these Solaire cattle. Do with that what you will. So I always got to see them and see them. They've always been good, but they're just so incredible as we bring this lineup back out here. What these exhibitors, breeders, those that have gotten them prepared and presented have done just in terms of keeping up with the times. You know, we get all buzzed and hyped up about there's lots of breeds. One that I grew up in now, one that's red with a white face. Oh, how great they are, how far they've come. They're really the it breed. These are just, again, good cattle. For me, really an honor to be able to sort and evaluate them. Just absolutely incredible. All cattle are very much meant, especially in the purebred business, to serve a purpose. You know, a white hog in Florida is the same as a white hog in Ontario. Not the same for our Brangus that's going to work in the south of Texas that showed earlier today, or these Solaire cattle that are working those negative 50-degree temperatures. So that's the cool, I think, American thing about the cow business. It's the last outdoor production system, and each and every one of these breeds has a purpose in production, and this is a great lineup. You're going to have some really good representatives. Round of applause. I'll select a champion in reserve.
Move through this final class in this particular calf division over here on the Simmental side, and you know, a fun class to go through here, but maybe one that just doesn't absolutely grab you when they hit the ring. I think you kind of land on these two females, these two baldies out here. They're the real practical ones. They're really, really good in their structure, comparable to some of the other cattle. Young ladies have for one that's just really striking from the side. I think one that comes to us with enough dimension, and at times you just want her to get out and go and reach just a little bit freer off that hind end, or just want to like have a little more pizzazz and go. But I think one that just a real safe place to set. She's a little stouter. When you excuse me. When you step in behind this one's stouter pinned, wider based as she goes away from you. That's what elevates her to the top end of this class. The baldy heifer, one that just gives you an awesome silhouette from the side. I think a female that's just really, really good in her underline, really good at the point of her shoulder, really elevated through the front end of her skeleton, just a little narrow when you step in behind her, and we changed that about her. I think this one's still green enough that can come, but a really, really nice female from that standpoint. The red heifer, a little stouter built, stouter bone female. She's got a little punch underneath of her, the way she's constructed, nice on the side. I don't think that she collects herself with her hind two legs as she gets out and goes as well as the two that go in front of her, but a really, really nicely designed female. Got some extra dimension down low, really balances up in her underline awfully nice. Another female here that real practical, a sound, functional kind of a female. Maybe gets a little harder in her heart and forerib comparable to those cattle that go in front of her here, but a real nice, practical kind of a female. Useful in her skeleton, sound about her feet and legs and goes. Young man's got another one here that I thought from the side, a heifer that really gives you a good look. She's neat and tidy about her front 1/3. She's elevated in the front end of her skeleton. She's one that probably runs out of some depth of body. Just got to open her up, pull her apart in her rib cage to make her more competitive in this particular drive. We round out here with a pair of Baldy females, probably a little frailer built females, both cattle that we could change structurally to round out this class, but a nice group of females, got good brood cow look, got some extra dimension to the center portion of their body. Nice class of cattle to sort through.
Well, congratulations back over here in the Slayer ring. Your grand champion heifer coming out of that final division. Congratulations goes to Josie Belts of Canton, Kansas, with WWCS Jamaican 343J, and reserve champion Slayer here at the Cattlemen's Congress is going to come out of your junior heifer calf division. Congratulations to Iris Peterson of Wayland, Iowa. We also would like to announce, we didn't have a chance to during our grand drive, but we would like to announce the American Slayer Association Herdsman of the Year. A big congratulations will go to the Lynch family, James, Tina, and Michael Lynch of Irving, Kentucky. Let's put our hands together for the Lynch family. Well, at this time, we're going to get started with your Optimizer Bull Show. We'll bring in Class 2A. These will be Optimizer Early Spring Bull Calves born March of 22. Back over here in the Simmental ring, results out of your last class here in our Spring Heifer Calf division. First place in that class exhibited by Circle M Farms and Rockin' P Livestock with Rockin' P Black Cap K016. Second place exhibited by Gus Goodson of Earlsboro, Oklahoma with JSOL PCC Rosie 2225K. Third place going to Kendall Rayfield of Lubbock, Texas. Fourth place exhibited by Trenton Scott of Newkirk, Oklahoma. Fifth place went to Garrett Walther of Centerville, Indiana. Sixth place exhibited by Alex Bonner of Nashville, Arkansas. And seventh place in that class exhibited by Heldon Farms of Geary, Oklahoma. We're now bringing in those first and seconds, and our judges are going to select their champion reserve spring heifer calves.
Well, just a single entry here to conclude our Solera female confirmation show. And I think just a really good duo. Obvious to tell, an 18 model cow doing a really good job with this big old strapping summer-born bull calf on her side, putting lots of her productive value into that calf in terms of grow and muscle. I think she's done a really good job outproducing herself. And that's the most important thing that we can ask of these females and next generations, the most important thing that any of us can do. So a really nice pair here to represent your cow calves in your Solera show.
Well, congratulations and my apologies over here in the Slayer ring. We did have a cow-calf pair to bring in. Your champion cow-calf pair exhibited by Rocky Meadow Farm in Rocky Mount, Virginia with WF Meg 85K.
really nice first division in this purebred show, and as we anticipated it to be, just awfully good, all the way from first class here. And as you get all 5 of these class winners out here, there's some differences about them, but boy, I think there's just a good trend in cattle that have enough look to them and enough substance about them, cattle that are really sound and functional. There's some nitpicking you can talk about each and every one of them as we described them in these particular classes. There's 2 of these, and I think as we get to projecting them out, what we anticipate them to look like as yearlings and the future that they got in them, I think the extra bells and whistles, there's 2 of them that suit us pretty well out here. Join me in giving these exhibitors a round of applause, and we'll get you a champion in reserve in your calf division here.
And congratulations, your champion in that division coming out of Class 35. Congratulations go to Morgan Jackson of Kaufman, Texas, with 4B Miss Remedy 169K. And congratulations, your reserve champion in that division will come out of Class 33. Congratulations will go to Circle M Farms and Rockin' P Livestock with Rockin' P Built to Love K067. We'll now get started with your next division here in our Purebred Simmental show. This will be heifer calves born in February of 2022. Well, back over here in ring 2, we're getting started with your Optimizer Bull Show. First class in the ring will be Class 2A, Optimizer Early Spring Bull Calves, born March of 22.
Well, over in our Solaire ring, as we ease back into our show, a really nice Optimizer March bull calf, just really a solid kind of representative. I still like him. He reads really juvenile and youthful in his feature, yet still starting to progress in terms of some masculinity like we'd expect of these calves. Really a lethal one on the stand for his lines. Maybe ask him to get out and go just to discuss him as an individual. A little bit upright there on his toes on each end, but again, minor criticism on a bull that's really maturing nicely. Good testicular size and distension relative to his age. Good way to start our bull show today.
Well, congratulations in Class 2A, first place. Go to Curtis Dubett of Belgrade, Montana with MJB Independence 318K. We'll now bring in Class 2B. These will be Optimizer Late Junior Bull Calves, born February of 22.
Well, just a single entry as we progress here in our divisions. In our Optimizer bull calf, just a really solid kind of herd sire prospect that we have out here. Certainly not the most important thing, but red color certainly makes you look at him, and then as you get in and study him, you really further appreciate him. Great in the way that he blends, I think kind of tells the story or confirms on paper he's really maternal oriented, convenience traits of a low birth, still having some milk and more than above average growth. And what I really like about him, even if just in a comparative kind of purpose, is we start thinking about even the bull just in that class before. Love him at the ground in terms of that extra set that he has, angle to his shoulder, but then also how he sits down on the ground behind. Really a nice, long, loose, flexible kind of stride. Lots of longevity, seasons of service in this one. Really nice calf as we progress through our percentage optimizer show.
Well, congratulations in Class 2B, first place. So go to JBC Maverick 74K, exhibited by Jasperson Calico of Goshen, Utah. We'll now look to see Class 2C Optimizer Early Junior Bull Calves, born January of 22. Correction on that over here in the Optimizer ring. Class 2C is the scratch. In the ring is Class 2D. These are Optimizer Winter Bull Calves, born October to December of 21.
Well, that jump in age makes a little bit more sense on how the maturity on this bull reads, and I think a really nice senior bull calf. Really just looks like performance cattle visually, and then he's also that on paper, one that's really curve bending in terms of some performance and numbers, and I think that he reads that way, and don't mean that as a negative. Work for Baldridge, the Angus outfit, and understand performance cattle, that they can be good and good numbered. He's all those things. I think lots of fits on this one. not only is he good today, next generation, lots of options on him. He's going to be another really nice contributor as we think about our lineup of Optimizer bulls.
Well, congratulations in Class 2D. First place to go to TTG Gym 48J, exhibited by Taylor Goring of McPherson, Kansas. We're now going to bring in Class 2E. These be late spring yearling bulls born April of 21.
Well, a really nice single entry representative out here. Obviously, a little influence gives him a little sex appeal and swag, and that baldy face that he has, that's highly marketable. You could talk to him on the other side of the ring about that. Really deep-bodied. Love how he progressively gets deeper. Really big center body. I like the kind of muscle and hip shape that he has. Really looks like a breeding piece on the stand. Maybe, again, just to discuss him as an individual as we think about starting to put him in the lineup. How he goes to the ground behind is maybe, for me, kind of a red flag, a limiting factor on him. Just as you look, not only in how his leg twists to the ground, also his foot shape is affected. Really a lot of curl in that toe, not much on that outside heel. I just like to make him a little bit more stable in the way that he goes to the ground. Just fix him a little bit there out of his hip. I think that all coordinates and communicates into why he travels like that. Don't mean to be critical, just he's going to look awfully good in our grand drive, and just telling you some of the things that I read about in him in terms of some seasons of service. But really nice single entry representative nonetheless.
Super good class to work through over here on the Simmental side, and obviously more numbers, and there's quality all the way down the line, and obviously they come to you in different shapes and sizes and kinds, and the longer they're out here, the heifer, the baldy heifer we elected to use, you just you find yourself gravitating back towards that one with her quality and her presence. She has advantages up into her front end, and you love the way that she comes out of her shoulder into that midsection or rib cage. She's so good and true there. That heifer's sound in her makeup, but if we're going to nitpick her, she wants to drop those pins ever so slightly and get just a nickel tucked under, and if we could change that, it makes the decision a lot easier, but a super high quality one to tie to lead off. Big, stout, powerful one comes in second here, and she does have class advantages in that regard, but with that, she comes in a little bolder, coarser package. I'd like to tone her down a bit up into her shoulder there, and she too could get out and reach just a bit further off both ends. Standing still, the young man's heifer that comes in third resembles the class winner in terms of the way she's made to her front end. She has that quality and look to her. We need to change her here once again. She gets up on them rear two. She's a little more upright in her shoulder there, but that's a super high quality female that gives you an ultra cool look. Young lady's heifer that comes fourth in line, we drop down just a bit in terms of frame, and with that, she has a little extra rib and body to go along with it. Just like to take her and just stretch her all the way apart. She's a shorter coupled heifer. She reads shorter up there about her head and neck as well. Big, stout, powerful red heifer with a lot of quality to her, and standing still, we can probably move her up just a couple spots. We need to alter or modify her from a structure standpoint. She gets up right off both ends, but that one standing still, you can't deny the power presence that she has and offers. Red heifer turning the corner, big rib, big middle. Once again, she wants to run downhill and get aloft in terms of her structure. The young man rounding the corner now, 7805 exhibitor, doing a great job with a heifer that has some look and some pattern to her. She wants to get a nickel close at her hocks, not as much rear flank built into that female. The heifer that follows up behind her, big middle, big ribbed, kind of a female. She's too short up into her front end. We need to take her and just freshen her up and stretch her out all the way in. hen. Gentleman that goes next in line, here's a female that's really long down her top line, and I'll agree in her condition and appreciate that about her, but unfortunately she's flatter and frailer in her makeup. The baldy that follows out runs in that same boat, needs to be stoutened up off her rear too and give a shot more rear flank, and the red heifer that rounds off the class certainly has some smoothness and some kind and some look to her. Quite simply gets out horsed with those heifers ahead of her, but congratulations on a super good class, quality all the way through.
Well, over here, just a single entry in this older junior yearling class in our optimizer show, and especially on the stand. Just a really elite kind of a show bull that I think has a lot of real world benefits and prowess as well. Just so nicely balanced, so proportional in the way that he's made, parallel in his lines, good at the ground in terms of foot size and shape. Matches him up high. Maybe we get this one on the go again, just discussing him as an individual. He wants to get a little upright there on his pastern, like to relax him there. I think lengthen him out of his hip, all of that could coordinate, make him go a little bit better. But he really looks like a class act, good kind of high caliber bull on the stand. Going to continue to shape up to be a really interesting drive, because that's another kind of nice way to end cap that.
Well, congratulations. Back over here in the Optimizer Bull Show, your final class, first place, goes to STP Jack of All Trades B01J, exhibited by T-Bone Cattle Company of Osceola, Iowa, and White Oak Slayers of Fremont, Iowa. We're now going to bring all of those class first placings and seconds into the ring, and our judge will select your grand and reserve grand champion Optimizer Bull. Back over in the Simmental ring, results out of that first class here in your next division. Class 37, first place, exhibited by Circle M Farms and Rockin' P Livestock with SFI Miss Snake Eyes K11. Second place in that class was exhibited by Brecken Good with BFSC Remedy for Love. Third place, exhibited by Hayes Anderson in Purcell, Oklahoma. Fourth place goes to Mossaman Farms in Newton, Kansas. Fifth place, exhibited by Grace Richard of Blanchard, Oklahoma. Sixth place in that class, and congratulations to Wyatt DeBerry of Alton, Texas. Seventh place will go to Garrett Jones of Anna, Texas. Eighth place, exhibited by Joden Herman of Boynton, Oklahoma. Ninth place in that class, and congratulations to Braden Cole. And 10th place will go to Paisley Olson. Now in the ring is Class 38, purebred Simmental heifers born February of 2022.
Well, over here in our Optimizer Bull Show, just really an incredible lineup of cattle all the way through, and each and every one of these I think represent their age and class contemporary incredibly well. We can pretend like we just didn't bring the seconds out here, because these really could all withstand quite a bit of competition. For any of you around ringside that may know me, we showed a lot of cattle, but showing bulls and marketing our program via showing bulls is something that's always been instrumental to us. And I understand not just the good, the bad, the ugly of showing cattle, but also the challenges of showing these bulls at each and every age. And I think those kind of things certainly are something to think through, and that can make it a challenge depending on kind of where you want to place your priorities. No, there's lots of discussion. I understand the time and challenge and work it takes, and the feed and the resources of keeping these big bulls fresh, keeping them managed in show shape, hopefully, or regardless of if they're turned out on cows, and also understand the value of these bull calves. There's about to be and are starting an awful lot of bull sales in this part of the country. They're going to sell several hundred of them, and they don't have the benefit of being this age. They're going to be this calf age, and that's what we're going to expect our customers to hopefully bank on. That's our livelihood and going to be the next best for their next generation. So I think there's lots of things that go into it, and things in terms of picking a bull to win a bull show. Each and every one of these are really good, have all done a great job in terms of with their hybrid vigor and heterosis in these optimizers. Take your pick, all within the guardrails. by and large, in terms of how they read on paper, great in terms of their testicular size and development, all in form, function, soundness, structure, substance, one that just suits me really well. I think a standout for a reason or two. But with that, I'll go out and select your champion optimizer and reserve. Round of applause, though, to these exhibitors.
Well, congratulations. Your champion optimizer bull here at the Cattlemen's Congress comes out of Class 2B, JBC Maverick 74K, exhibited by Jasperson Cattle Company of Goshen, Utah. And your reserve champion optimizer bull coming out of that final class, congratulations to T-Bone Cattle Company and White Oak Slayers with STP Jack of All Trades B01J. Congratulations once again to those exhibitors. We'll look to get started with your National Slayer Bull Show here in just a minute.
Back in our purebred ring here in these February heifers, some differences as we sort through here and some challenges amongst the way the cattle read and their structure and different things from their condition and their body condition and type they are. Young ladies heifer, though, that comes to the top here, I think one surfaces pretty handily. I think just from a quality standpoint, this one's really captivating from the side. One that's really elegant about her front 1/3, one that's big, giant feet and legs when she gets out and goes. One that's just really balances up in her nice, in her underline there with a good body shape and dimension about her. I think she's the fault-free, safe place for us to start in this particular class. Nice individual to win this particular drive here. Young lady in the black vest here, a heifer that's really another one that's captivating from the side. She's square about her hips and the way that she goes. She holds her pins more true than the heifer in third. Heifer probably that just doesn't like to change the way her tail head is, comparable to our class winner, but I think another one that fits the build, really good. You can't argue about her structure. One that's got some reach and some length out through her front 1/3. Nice place to set in here second. Young man's got a big, bold rib, kind of a female, one that's nice and flat in the way that she designed in her shoulder structure there. She's one that probably for us, we just like to keep her a little truer in her hip when she gets out and goes. She wants to duck her pins as she gets out and travels about the ring slightly here, but a nice, powerful female that goes in the third hole here. However, the next young lady's female coming around here, one that just gets a little frailer amongst the top four. She's the one that narrows up the most when you step in behind her. I'd like to just put a nickel more width and power in this one when you step in behind her, comparable to the three that go in front of her. But another one, good structured, good feet, legs, one that's got some reach and some look and some cow doability about her. Nice kind of a female. Same kind of goes here, a heifer that gets a little plainer for the young man, wants to get underneath of herself. I'd like to just collect her, pull her up, just to square her up ever so slightly, make her more competitive, but sure one that's long-bodied, got some extra dimension when you get in behind this one. This one's pretty powerfully constructed down her top line. Young lady's got a heifer here, moderate in her type and kind, frame. She wants to just be a little more rigid on her hind legs at times. I like this one when she gets her parked here. She's long and level about her hip. Tail head sits down in like it's supposed to. Just got to maybe change her and make her more comfortable as she gets out and goes. The big, powerful female here is the Baldy heifer. It's undeniable in this class. She's the big, bold, rib-caged one. Just at times, she just wants to be coarser in that regard, lay her into her shoulder, maybe flatten her at times about her muscle pattern there, but a big pound-getting performance kind of a female. We'll round into some heifers here that round out the class. This pair, we just got to give them a little more balance and look and design to make them more competitive, but a really good competitive class of these February females in this purebred Simmental show.
Well, congratulations over here in the Simmental ring, Class 38. First place exhibited by Hadley Hendrickson and Tim Schaefer Show Cattle of Farmland, Indiana, with J. Saul TSSC Lady in Black 2181K. Second place in that class will go to Tyler Miller of Armington, Illinois, with BRB 4 JBSF Chloe 215K. Third place in that class exhibited by Ty Kithero of St. Charles, Iowa. Fourth place goes to Abigail Spivey of Eustis, Texas. Fifth place in that class will go to Laramie Blakely of Oologah, Oklahoma. Sixth place exhibited by Allie Satong of Tipton, Indiana. Seventh place exhibited by CNN Cattle Company. Eighth place will go to Hafner Brothers Simmentals. And ninth place to Abby Hessler Henderson. We're now going to bring in your final class in this division. This will be Class 39, purebred Simmental heifers born January of 22. Well, over here in Ring 2, we're going to get started with your National Slayer Bull Show. This will be Class 1 Summer Bull Calves, born on or after April 2022.
Well, here to just start our purebred Solaire Bull show, we saw, I believe, this individual just a little bit ago on his dam, so we know what the factory looks like, and we can be that much more impressed by him. Just really stout, bold, masculine, muscular already at this June age. Weight per day of age certainly in his favor. Like some, because he's chock full of so much muscle and red meat. Maybe comes in a few more pieces, but he's still got a lot of days and a lot of time yet to grow and come into himself. Foundations there to have some really profitable pieces. Nice way to start our purebred bull show.
Well, congratulations at our first class of Slayer Bulls. First place to go to JPK Knight, exhibited by Rocky Meadow Farm in Rocky Mount, Virginia. We'll now look to see Class 2 here in this division. These will be early spring bull calves born March of 2022.
Well, a really nice group of bulls out here, and all four a little bit different, and a little bit with some of my extracurriculars. I had the fortune or misfortune of having both the Hogues my collegiate judging career, and they'd always yell at me about hedging ones like the one that I'm going to let win. That's how I survive contests like that. I can just use the kind I like is in the real world of judging cattle shows. Bull that wins is just my kind. Really like his softness, particularly center portion of his body. More important though structurally, like his flexibility out of his hip, how he uses that, grabs some ground. You know, some may call him a little bit plain in the set to his hock because he's got a little bit extra there, but that actually allows him to be functional, reach up, fill in his track, good as he goes up front. Now, no doubt the shapelier, bigger backed, bigger hipped bulls are the one in second and third. A little bit more typey in their kind. Could see them working in a niche program depending on what you were doing. Bull that ends up in second, just a little bit better built right there up through his front end in terms of how he toes ahead. A little bit better angle to his shoulder. What keeps him out of that front runner contention is I just have to see him go a little bit better out of his hip. He's got a lot of hip, but he's a little bit encumbered consequently in his movement, a little shorter in his step. Bull that's going to end up in third, really similar to that one right ahead of him, just the difference is up front. This one comes apart in his shoulder, a little bit more open at the top of his blade. You can probably see there in the makeup ring, really wants to toe out. He two's a little bit short, a little bit more upright on his rear pasterns. Yet again, quality bull, unfortunately has to end up in third. Not meaning to be critical of either of those three. They're great herd sire prospects, just discussing how I see him differently. Bull in third, high birth weight one of the group. You can maybe see that in his head and shoulder. Wants to wedge a little bit the wrong direction on us, but that's okay. Like his softness, suppleness, though, of his make. Body, I think still going to be a low input kind of bull. You can turn out with confidence, just not the bloom, not the pizzazz, not the poise of those other ones right ahead of him, but a good class there as we progress through our bull calves.
Really competitive drive of these females out here, and as they get to breaking them down, I think the real safe place to start is the big-bodied, bold-sprung one here, and a heifer that still got some look from the side. I think this one's really long-fronted. I'd probably need to take a little hair off of her front end at times just to get a better read on her neck, but I think one that just body shape, dimension, quality, one that's really opened up when you get behind her. I think a high-quality kind of a female. Young man's got a moderate one here that we like quite a little bit. I think one that you read from her shoulder back. She's awesome in her design, her build, from her rib cage, and the way that she gets out and handles herself. She's really collected on the move. I appreciate that about her. Maybe one we're going to pick on just a little bit in her skull shape and just prettier up through that throat latch ever so slightly, but I think that's getting a little critical on one. Young lady's heifer that goes out there, one that's a tremendous look from her front end of her scalp. At times I question this one, the way that she reads through her hip and the length of hip that she has. A heifer that we got to get to relax out here and just pull herself together and be more collected. I think we could get a better read on her hip design today. Young lady's got a female coming here in fourth. I think one that's just a really, really long-bodied female. I think one that's just incredibly long out the backside of her shoulder blade, bends into a nice hip. Maybe really just change and give her a shot more width and dimension as she goes away from you. Wants to get her hocks together as she gets out and goes. But I think one that just offers enough more body shape and brood cow look there to lay into that fourth hole. Young lady's got one here. I love the design of this one when she's parked. She does a great job getting her stuck, gets her head up. She's really nicely elevated, long and level about her top. I just like to make this one more comfortable as she gets out and reads off those hind two. And the young lady that rounds out the class with the red heifer, another one we just got to give a little more body dimension and shape to. Maybe tweak her hind two just a little bit to make her more competitive, but a really nice class of these January females.
Well, over here in our Solaire ring, a really nice group of Solaire bull calves, and obviously a pair of just more quality bulls. I think that surface ultimately, although all really good, I think some really nice kind of silhouette, way they fit together, lots of substance, lots of different options. If maybe you're looking for a herd sire prospect, one that wins, just kind of all in structure, even good on paper, is kind of that extra bow on the hat. Round of applause to these calf exhibitors. We'll select a champion in reserve.
Well, congratulations back over here in the Simmental ring. Results out of that final class here in your junior heifer calf division. First place exhibited by XTB Cattle Co., B&K Farm, Ivy and Sons, and Elmore Cattle Services with XTB She's a Hottie K02. Second place in that class exhibited by Blake Henrich of Okarche, Oklahoma, with Miss JH Crushin' Chick K215. Third place in that class exhibited by Morgan Jackson of Kaufman, Texas. Fourth place will go to CNN Cattle Company of Roland, Iowa. Fifth place will go to Brandon Jockmiston of Green Top, Missouri. And sixth place exhibited by Riley Martin. Now over here in ring one, we have all of your first and seconds. Our judges are going to select their champion reserve junior heifer calves.
Sure, another competitive division in these February and January calves out here. And as a purebred breeder and folks around ringside, it's hard to build these purebreds this good. It's taken us a long time. It's taken a lot of years and pain to get it here. But there's 3 cattle out here that are elite in their type and kind. I think cattle that really have that show ring look and presence, and then just extra body shape and dimension and the width, the base when they get out and go, and just some extra structure underneath with the bone and the footwork that these cattle have to offer. I think just a tremendous lineup of these 3 individuals that we get to select here for your calf champion. If you would, around ringside, we're going to get you a champion in reserve. Give these purebred exhibitors another round of applause, and we'll get you a champion in reserve.
And congratulations over here in the Simmental ring. Your champion in that division will come out of class 38. Congratulations goes to Hadley Hendrickson and Tim Schaefer Show Cattle with J. Saul TSSC Lady in Black, 2181K.
Well, over here in our Solaire ring, a really nice pair of winter-born February calves, and I think both really different. Ultimately, though, for me, keeping things in perspective, the kind of really loose-structured, big-bodied females that we liked earlier in the day. Bull that wins this class is the kind that's going to make those for you. With that being said, this one, I'll be the first to admit, we could pick him up a little bit right there at the top of his shoulder, stretch him out a little bit in his neck, and then I think he's really bulletproof. But from there on back, love the body that he has, how he goes to the ground, got a really good kind of bone work and foot shape, really athletic in his stride, fills his tracks rather well. Bull in second, I do like for his maturity pattern in terms of being longer, having the advantage of extension, particularly up front, also out of his hip. He's a little bit bigger in his kind, don't mind bigger frame cattle. As we've discussed though, we'd maybe like to see him body down a little bit more, not just swoopy rib because that's a little trendy, but get him just a little bit shot right there and behind his heart, a little bit more true shape to his rib. He too's not exactly ideal structured. He could use laid back in his shoulder, relax a little bit on his pasterns. He's just a bigger, more kind of rigid, tighter spine kind, and I think that's why he goes like that, but a really good pair nonetheless, usable kind of Solaire bulls.
Well, congratulations back over here in the Slayer ring. Your spring champion bull calf coming out of class 2. Congratulations will go to Taylor Goring. And second place in reserve will go to Bittersweet West of Hiawatha, Kansas. We then brought in class 3. First place exhibited by White Women Creek Slayers. And second place was exhibited by Josie Colmore, Rising Fawn, Georgia.
Well, just a single entry bull. Really appreciate his growth. I think this one has weight per day of age in spades. Lots of length, lots of extension. Like him on the stand, really raw, lean kind of design. I think he's going to have muscle to his benefit as we think about breeding him on next generation. He's maybe like that blaze face bull that we talked about in our optimizers. We'd probably like to fix this one in a similar way as you watch him off those rear two. He maybe wants to go to the ground a little bit more unstable. Not near as much heel on that outside, kind of knuckles over, just a little bit more irregular in his hip and hind leg. Again, I think that's just what keeps him from being good to great, but that's still a nice single entry representative as we progress through our Solaire show.
Well, congratulations back over here in the Slayer ring. Results out of class 4. First place to go to WWB Kingston 21K, exhibited by Fox Grape Farm in Piney River, Virginia. We'll now bring this first and seconds in. Select Champion Reserve Junior Bull Calf.
Well, over here in our Solaire ring, a nice trio that we bring back out here, and all a little bit different. Particularly, I think that we have one kind of outlier, and that'll be reflected in this division, and then maybe 2 more similar cattle. Again, just in terms of proportion, moderation, I think one that structure, style, substance does it for me in spades, and then still lots of quality that's going to end up in reserve just because of our limited quantity. That's kind of how it shakes up, that maybe they're not the ideal pair, but still a really deserving group out here of Solaire bull calves. All of these really nice kind of cattle, tremendous future. Round of applause, and I'll go out and select a champion in reserve.
As we move into the fall division here on the Simmental side, nice set of heifers to work through, and the heifer that leads off, she's the combination female for us, the one that you continue to go back to. She's the fault-free, problem-free heifer, if you will. She's certainly good in terms of her look and design, but just as importantly, she's good at the ground from a structure standpoint, enough body and substance to match it as well. Young lady's heifer that comes in second, there's a female that's ultra attractive. Really like the way she's tied in through her shoulder, that extra strength and length down that top line, a sound structured kind of a female. She just runs out of gas, lack of a better term. She could skid flatter right in behind her shoulder, and when you get right behind her as well, just need to take her and pull her apart just a nickel. Come into a heifer here in third. Here's a female that has some depth of rib and some softness to her, like the way she's square and wide out of her hip there. At times we catch her getting a little more cut up in her rear flank there, and a nickel planer up into her front end as well, but she certainly has some attributes you have to appreciate. Big-bodied female that follows up next in line. She wants to run down downhill and get a little outside of herself there off both ends. Young man's Baldy heifer that goes next, standing still. That's a super attractive, high quality female. Just need to loosen her up in her structure and tie that tail head down into her just a bit better. And the young lady that rounds off the class has got a female with some power and substance to her. She comes in a coarser package, need to be refined in her joint work. Congratulations, those exhibitors, once again, on a nice set of females.
Well, here in our Solaire show, single entry representative in this class as we move into our junior yearlings. But just a really complete, basic kind of a beef bull. Mean that as a positive. Just really smooth in the way he's made. Genuine and still pretty raw designed, which I think to me indicates he's still got some gas left in his tank. Great in his testicular size and distension. Good enough in the way that he gets out around the ring. I do like him in his kind of foot-shaped column of bone. Matches his framework up high. We could maybe fold him together a little bit better up front, but just a unique one to study. Really charts good on paper, kind of becomes an all-in option in a lot of ways, but a good single entry representative as we progress through our Solaire bulls.
Well, congratulations back over in the Slayer ring. First place in Class 7 will go to McCoy Livestock with RCM PB Jim Beam 147J. Next class in is Class 10. These are junior yearling bulls born February of 21. Results over here in our Simmental ring out of Class 40, first place, exhibited by Callie Cloud of Carthage, Missouri, with Cloud Valley Girl 19J. Second place in that class was exhibited by Emma Gregory of Battleground, Indiana. Third place will go to Robinson Cattle Company of Cushing, Oklahoma. Fourth place goes to Piper Steel of Republic, Missouri. Fifth place exhibited by Grayson Jones of McLeod, Oklahoma. And sixth place went to Abby Jones of Anna, Texas. Now in ring 1, we have Class 41, purebred Simmental heifers born September to October of 21.
Well, over here in our Solaire ring, a really nice early yearling bull, one that's just so incredible as a specimen to study. Exhibitor tells him he's been exposed to some cows. Probably the reason today just reads a little bit leaner and rawer in his design, but still just such an interesting, really outlier kind of look. And what I really can appreciate about him, just those underpinnings that he has underneath. That one's built for speed, built for the long term, certainly in how he goes in his flex, but then also just his foot shape and the kind of foundation that he's built on. Just a really nicely balanced one. Certainly thankful he came to town to participate, shaping up to be a really nice group of Solaire bulls.
Well, congratulations back in the Slayer ring. Class 10, first place, exhibited by That Farm in Camp, Arkansas, with That's Jagger 794.
Well, over here in our purebred ring, just a really, I think, quintessential Solaire kind of bull, just in terms of really having some true muscle, being shapely, just being really genuine overall in the way that he's made, heavy duty, rugged in his design. Appears to me as though he's got some growth in weight per day of age. Really nice in terms of his spread on paper. Not the most important thing, but a nice compliment. Exhibitor tells me has been used on cows, and when I ask that, certainly that's always the right answer, whether or not they have. But he tells me we can't afford to have a bull and not use him on cows if we're going to keep him, and that's really kind of the mindset. Maybe not that extra bloom or fit or fancy as a few that we've seen in this division, but real world, really nice Solaire bull that this exhibitor brings out as a single entry.
And congratulations over here in the Slayer ring in Class 11. First place will go to Rocky Mountain Farm in Rocky Mountain, Virginia with GGT Platinum 127J. We'll now bring all those bulls in and select Champion Reserve Junior Bull.
Well, a really elite trio of yearling bulls out here, all incredibly useful. And at the end of the day, I think that's the most important thing, and all would be a great option, I think, to do a lot of good in some different areas on a cow herd. More importantly, I think all in, one just really fits the bill well in terms of being functional kind of cattle that has that little extra flash in the fit and fancy that he's presented with us today. And it's just kind of all in that package that makes an ultra competitive one. And then for reserve, I think one that just fits together, like him relative to size, but a really good group all the way through. Really solid numbered kind of bulls, great in their testicular size and distension. All look like men, all good kind of breeding bulls. I'll go out and select a champion in reserve. Round of applause, though, to this group of exhibitors.
Over here in our fall division in the Simmental ring, really high quality class here, and I think this top trio of females needs a little discussion. The white-legged female that you just keep coming back to, I think, is the one that's the most ladylike through the front 1/3. I think she's the one that ties in high at the top of her shoulder blade. She's the one that gets out and just travels fault-free. I think a real nice place to set in here and start as your class winner. When this one hits the ring, love her body shape, her dimension, the moderation in her skeleton. You know, probably where it separates her closely behind our class winner, she's just not probably quite as flat in the top side of her neck as the heifer that goes here. Maybe one that wants to just be a little plainer about that front 1/3, comparable to that class winner. Now, the young man here in third, I think one that just absolutely is a powerhouse. When this one gets on the side profile, a beast of an animal here. I just got to change this one, tweak her at times in her structure, make her more comfortable to go, and I think that's just an outlier of a brood cow female. Kick that one out to the donor pin for that young man, and she's going to raise you something. A really good built one here, one that's flat at the point of her shoulder, extended through the front 1/3 of her skeleton. Probably gives up some just true forerib back into her underline. I'd like to just expand this one in the center portion of her body, comparable to the cattle that go in front of her today, but a really high quality female that young lady's brought out here. Bronco face female, another one, really good built, really flat and feminine, ladylike about her front 1/3. Probably wants to hawk in just a tick as she gets out and goes. You square this one up and pull her apart. It makes her more competitive in this drive, but sure, an ultra nice female to set in there. A moderate frame female, packed full of some substance and power. Consequently, that probably is what I'd like to just change about her. She wants to just, we got to change the way she's hooked up in the top side of her hip and her skeleton joint there. She wants to get up underneath of herself because of that extra muscle and power she has, but a nice kind of a moderate, easy-doing female. And the young man that rounds out the class, a long body, long-fronted kind of a female. She wants to just plane up a little bit in the front 1/3, get underneath of herself and hawk in just ever so slightly on her back too. But a really competitive class of those fall females. My congratulations to those exhibitors.
Well, a really nice single entry here, and what I believe is our last class, just kind of our regular confirmation show, and just a really nice exclamation point to end a really good group of cattle. Just so nice, a bull this age, to have the opportunity to appreciate right on the cusp of, I believe, where he should be in terms of having some flesh and some bloom to be deserving of winning a prize, but more importantly, in terms of true marketing, these folks, or if someone were to purchase him, take him home, and you'd have no hesitation to turn him out on cows, not just because he's good in quality, he's great built, and then just that little extra that ultimately makes a good one really hard to deny. He's just really out there in how he charts genomically. Certainly not the most important thing, but appreciate when they can do it all. Great way to end our Solaire Bull Show.
Well, congratulations over here in the Slayer ring. Your champion in our final division, exhibited by White Women Creek Slayers and GG&T Cattle Company. We're now going to bring all of those division champion reserves in, select a grand and reserve grand champion Slayer Bull.
As we gather up our two class winners here to select your champion fall purebred female, and sure, nicely designed class winners out here. The young lady won that class, we thought, pretty handily, just from the extra substance she had, the extra body shape and dimension, and just kind of a fault-free package. A really nice female to come out of that first class. And the white-legged female that we just talked about here, another one that I just described as she went out of the ring. I think one that's just ultra good through that front 1/3, one that you just keep coming back to that's just awfully fault-free. A nice female to represent that competitive class that we just discussed. We'll get you a champion reserve and keep on moving through these purebred heifers. Ultra good division here, an awesome set of cattle. Congratulations.
Well, congratulations over here in the Simmental ring. Your champion senior heifer calf coming out of class 41. Congratulations go to Brecken Bloomberg with J. Saul PCC Proud Mary 1532J.
Well, it's certainly been an honor to have the opportunity to evaluate all your Solaire and Optimizer open cattle today, and can't think of a better end cap and exclamation point to the show than these purebred bulls. As I mentioned throughout the day, this is our livelihood. This is how I grew up. Certainly we showed some bulls. That was extremely important, but we also sold a lot of bulls and continue that we're lucky in our little corner of Northeast Indiana that we still have a pretty good opportunity to sell those to a lot of different herds. This is just still such an incredibly important marketing opportunity, especially in these purebred seed stock cattle in these bull shows. And hopefully, I know we get lots more junior cattle in a lot of these breeds and less cattle that are even available for sale. But I feel this is still a very important part of live exhibition, of having people understand and see your cattle. Where I'm from, they could drive past a lot of Gelfian limousine bulls from where they're primarily based in Kansas, Nebraska, the Dakotas, and Indiana. We came to shows repeatedly so we could exhibit our cattle. We could showcase that we're out there not breeding show cattle, but we're going to showcase our breeding program. And I think that's what the culmination of every one of these shows is, and it's still so incredibly important. Yes, everybody wants to win. That's the spirit of competition. That's what makes it fun. But, you know, if they were all supposed to be judged the same, there would only be one show a year. And I think in the beef business, specifically in the show industry, even both sides of the ring in these breeds, and a lot of different people that touch the cattle industry, we've had a lot of loss. A lot of people that aren't here to be with us and should put things in perspective. This is a relationship business and just a very important component. Like I said, this is our bread and butter. I understand how important this is. I also understand being a very small part of the industry. industry. We co-op bulls for Wolf's in Minnesota, so we send our potload of bulls that go into their bull sale. They sell about 400. Their purebred bull sale doesn't even make the weekly staff meeting because they're the third largest milk producer in the world. They have the fourth most number of dairy cows. So you want to talk about being a thread on the bolt in the cog and the wheel that drives the bus. It's a very narrow piece that we play, but we've developed that relationship because we showcase bulls and they met us at national shows. So this is important. This is how we market our cattle. It's okay to still bring cattle that are available to sell at these kind of national shows because we should all be marketing our program. Great group of bulls. You could go any way. One in particular just does everything and does it well, and a great one to be reserved. But more importantly, this has been a great group of Solaire cattle. They've done a great job in terms of continuing improvement. I think their purebred cattle are better than their percentage cattle, and I mean that as a positive and the best compliment. This is exciting. They'll go and fit really well. Hopefully they all participate in the Supreme Drive tonight. Great group of Solaires. Round of applause. I'll go make the final champion reserve selections.
Well, congratulations, Grand Champion Slayer Bull here at the Cattlemen's Congress. Coming out of our final division, GGT Substance 971H, exhibited by White Women Creek Slayers and GG&T Cattle Company. And your reserve champion coming out of Class 10, that Farm Camp, Arkansas, with That's Jagger 794. We would like to also announce your premier exhibitor and breeder here in our Slayer show. Your premier exhibitor, congratulations going to Taylor Phillips. And your premier breeder, congratulations to White Women Creek Slayers. Again, congratulations to all those exhibitors, and a special thank you to our judge, Miss Emily Griffiths.
Summer division over here on the Simmental side, and a trio of heifers here that all have some utility and practicality to them. But the young lady's heifer that we lead off with, we thought that was a sure bet to go ahead and lead off. That female has the least faults out here. She's sound in her structure. That's a big middled kind of a female. She ties or blends that neatly up into her front end as well, with some look and some presence about her. Solid place to lead off. There's some give and take here in 2 and 3, and those two come to us in different types and packages here. We elected to use a heifer that has just a bit more length and stretch to her. I think she handles herself just a bit more collectively, if you will, on the move as well. In relation to that extra frame, you might want to give her just a shot more middle rib or body there, but that's a super long, attractive female that we prefer just a bit better from a structure standpoint. And the young lady that rounds off the class, standing still, that heifer from her shoulder back is huge middled, big ribbed, and you appreciate that about her. She's a little more jammed up, if you will, up and through her head and neck there, and like to loosen her up ever so slightly as she gets out and goes. But a nice trio of heifers. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Well, congratulations in our intermediate division. Your champion will go to Macy Cullum of Perkins, Oklahoma, with BCR Miss Time to Shine, J074. Second place, and congratulations, Matthew Pemberton of Washington, Iowa, with MSP Miss Annie. And third place, and congratulations goes to Robinson Cattle Co. of Cushing, Oklahoma. We'll now look to bring in Class 43. These will be purebred Simmental heifers born April of 21.